Sorry.
Yes, people, welcome to the channel. Welcome to Football's 12th Man and welcome to the Arsenal Roundabout. We are missing the main man tonight. Dan Potts couldn't make it to his own channel, so he's asked me to host. What a privilege. But we're going to have a good show. I know some people, we've got some sad faces. We're going to have some balance as well. But let me introduce, we've got DJ. How you doing, DJB?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Obviously, a little bit disappointed with yesterday's performance and result. Yeah, you know, we move on. But the sun was shining today, so yeah, let's get into it. All good.
All good. It was a nice day in London today, so forget about some of yesterday's troubles. But we've got Kenny in the building as well. How you doing, Kenny?
On mute.
You're on mute, man.
I'll tell you one thing, you know, football's the winner today, but I'll tell you one thing, on a personal level, it is so hot in North London. I don't know what it's like for you guys, but I'll tell you one thing, the only good thing to come out of this hot weather is hay fever. It's just gone.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Nightmare.
There you go. Well, yeah. It was nice to see some good weather today to get about last night. We've also got African Gooner in the building. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Excited to chat to you guys about how everyone feels. It's very interesting in the last 14, 15 hours on social media, kind of the perspectives of different people. Some of the opinions that are coming from previous, trauma, previous mistakes in January that have been, I think, in my opinion, kind of brushed under the carpet and now are resurfacing when we're starting to struggle again. So going to be really interesting to hear what everyone has to say and to discuss on how we move forward from here.
For sure. There's a lot to discuss. I kind of want to take it chronologically. We can kind of, almost start before the game, talk about key moments in the game. I was on the AFTV watch along at Box Park. So, vibes were there before the game. Everyone was ready. We had the same for Madrid last week. And it seemed to me like vibes in the stadium were the same. We heard North London Forever being sung. And stuff like this, I think Arsenal are usually really good with. But I need to bring this up because it was an absolute joke. That tifo.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen that tifo that they've hung in the stadium before the game? I mean, it was baggy from one corner. I don't know what they were doing. They were trying to do almost what Manchester United did last week when they put theirs up with all the legends on it. But it was just awful. I feel like that almost set a tone for the game. And I know, all right, we want to talk about the game, we'll talk about the team, about the manager, the tactics, but when there's so much going into a game and so much emotion invested into a game, you see Arteta coming out with that video during the day, talking directly to the fans. They're trying to create an atmosphere. Mm-hmm. And it all just seemed a little bit off. I've got to credit Sharoy here as well. I don't know if you guys know Sharoy. He's on AFTV quite a lot. But we had a chat before the game and he was saying, I don't know what other team would make such a big deal and, try and create such a vibe and atmosphere as much as we do. If Liverpool were playing in the Champions League semi-final, do they make it as much of a big deal and put all this pressure on to try and, get one up on the opponent as much as we do? Does any other team kind of do that? And that tifo, I mean, if you're going to do it right. That tifo was, I don't know, man. What do you guys think? Like, just the whole vibe around the game before, do you think we were kind of putting too much pressure on ourselves? That tifo, did you guys have any thoughts and feelings about that? I don't know.
Well, I mean, from my point of view, Christian, I felt if we'd have just kept it a little bit toned down and just treated it like a normal home game, where without all the flags, the tifo and Arteta coming out before the game and doing the video and hyping it all up, you know, it was putting added pressure on the whole team, the club, and it showed that in the performance. I mean, I'm not directing it away from tactics and certain players, but if we're to start from the start and then move it on, just keep it basic. Just keep it to how we've been doing our home games every single time. We didn't need all that big, you know, stage. We know what we had to do. The players knew the magnitude of the game. The fans knew the magnitude of the game. We didn't need all that, pomp before the game. But this is where all the PR has been coming in from this football club and the manager. He seems to kind of want all of this, and I don't know whether he wants all this to cover up because he feels under pressure that he's got to actually get over the line and win something. So he's getting all this behind him, and look what I'm doing. I'm rallying the crowd, and the crowd's with me, and all the fans are behind me. I don't know whether he's trying to kind of convince himself, because, I mean, I just felt it was, it went very, very flat, very, very quickly, because it's like when you're looking forward to a certain gift at your birthday or Christmas, and then you open up all the presents and you go, oh, I never got it. Oh, damn. Do you know what I mean? It was like all that build-up, and then bang, they score in the first 3 minutes, and it's like, oh, that's how it felt. It just felt flat.
Popping a balloon almost.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I just felt we didn't need all that. It was wrong. I felt if we'd have just kept a lid on it, kept it not calm, but just go about it our everyday, how it's been. Just keep it calm and just go out there and just go and do what you got to do. You didn't need all that build up. The players knew the size of the game. They didn't need it all.
I feel like, especially after conceding after 5 minutes, because of all that build up, like I said, it was like a balloon was popped. All this build up, all this momentum, just completely gone. And I wasn't at the game, but I've heard. I think were you DJ?
Yeah. Me and Kenny was there.
What was it like after they scored? Because from what I've heard and what I've seen and the noise, and just looked like
I was in shock. Me personally, and the fans around me, it was shock, because you saw such a good performance against Real Madrid, and there was such a big expectations on this game. And then when we went a goal down, it was like you couldn't believe it. It was like, did that? At first, I thought, what's happening? Have they actually scored? That's how I came. That's how it was. I mean, I'd only just got settled down, because we were standing up. We were standing up, singing, and really getting behind the team. And then suddenly, we literally sat down, and we was just, and that was it. We were 1-0 down, and I'm like, but the whole stadium was like that. It was like shock. It was like, are we seeing things here? And then reality started kicking in. It's like, oh, here we go again. Another massive game, another semi-final. And you could see the way it was panning out, the way the evening was going. And that's how it turned out in the end.
Definitely. Kenny, what was your feelings, man? All that build-up to concede after 5 minutes. Were you thinking, here we go again? Or were you thinking, we'll get back into this? I think you're on mute again, man.
Let's face it. After Real Madrid, we're on cloud 9. I think the whole football club was on cloud 9. We needed Real Madrid because of our poor form in the league, and we needed that build-up because, whether we liked it or not, it hurt to watch Liverpool win the league. We knew it was coming, but to actually see it, it hurt. Seeing the amount of points, it hurt. So we had to make a massive, big thing and say, right, get this out of your heads. Let's concentrate on the biggest game of the season. And let's face it, a lot of people are going to use the Champions League as a way of thinking, that's a good way to bury bad news. But the atmosphere itself, I'm not surprised. I wanted to actually go to the Sheikh and meet some of the guys, but I couldn't, because when I got down, I got to the ground by 7 o'clock. I had to go straight to the stadium because there was like the Ashburton Army were getting an escort, and it was packed. You couldn't move. So the safe haven in the stadium, so you could tell how big the game was. When we got to the stadium, I want to watch the players train. The thing before, it can't really bother me that much. I have to admit, I was asking a few people, where's our bags from Real Madrid? Where's all these red bags? What's happened? What's happened? We're in the semi-final. What's going on? But you do, if you do, you're damned. If you don't, you're damned as well. At the end of the day, the atmosphere is created by the players. And you're right, Christian, as soon as the goal went in, I think it's shock. And then it's panic because of the way the game panned out for the first 15 minutes. But saying that, let's be honest, when we were talking about all the songs we were doing and blah, blah, don't take this the wrong way, Arsenal fans, the people in the panel. But for a club that you slag off, i.e. Liverpool, you desperately want to be them. You copy all their songs, and it's a fact. The Martinelli song was a Diaz song. Why can't we just be original? Why do we want to be Liverpool? The LA song they did it first. What's wrong with us? Let's be Arsenal. This North London forever BS was us trying to mimic. You never walk alone. Just be Arsenal. Be Arsenal. Be yourself. Stop trying to be Liverpool. Can't try to be what we're not. Liverpool, a different club from us. Yeah, we both play in red, but the atmosphere takes care of itself. But when we're trying to replicate all the things that you said something really poignant. You never got that impression at Liverpool. Well, Liverpool have got a different mentality to Arsenal. They expect to win things, even if they haven't won things for a long time. Their DNA is the Champions League and the Premiership, or the title before the Premiership started. So you're talking about two clubs with different DNA, but a club that is trying to be Liverpool, but will never admit it. But for a club that doesn't think they're trying to be Liverpool, your songs are quite similar, guys. Just saying.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. African Guna. Talk to me about the goal, man. Let's talk about Dembele's goal. Because for me,
I first want to touch a little bit on.
For me, it was on Declan Rice. For me, Rice was covering Dembele on the edge of the box, and for no reason, Timber's one-on-one with Kvaratskhelia. He's Timber's very good one-on-one. Declan Rice turns around, sees Dembele, and thinks, "I'm going to dart over to back up Timber for some reason." It seemed like a crazy decision to me.
I mean, when he received the ball at first and he was so free, I think Timber made the first mistake, and then I think it doubled down with Declan Rice coming and marking a man that was already being marked and leaving that space open. A lot of the fans near me say that Dembele's goal was lucky. He shinned it, but it was super intentional. He knew he was going for that bottom corner, and he just had to connect. Even if it wasn't clean, I think it was a great goal. And I agree with DJB. I mean, really wasn't expecting that. And I also... I'm here in Toronto, and I went to go watch the game at the Arsenal bar here, the official Arsenal bar here. So it was quite packed out, and it just went quiet. It just went quiet because we just couldn't believe that. And within 4 minutes, the game was already pretty much looked like it was going to escape us. And we weren't expecting, the way I was expecting us to start this game was to come with full energy. And I just want to talk about the atmosphere and, the question that you asked the gentleman before. For me personally, this is our biggest match in European history for a very, very long time. I don't think there's anything wrong with what we've done, and I don't agree with Kenny Ken about this copying Liverpool. I think, firstly, chants are copied around clubs. It's not just Liverpool. I mean, as an international fan that's not from England and the UK, when I watch other Premier League games, I hear a lot of the chants being recycled for a lot of different clubs. So yes, maybe one or two have come from Liverpool in recent times for Martinelli or the Ale, but I think we're looking way too deep into that. I personally really loved. I even saw a picture of a grandma on a bus wearing cleats, right? Because Arteta said, bring your boots. So I really love that personally. I agree, Christian. I think obviously considering Liverpool have been super successful in Europe and the Premier League, it's not as big of a game for them as it would have been for us. And that's why I think we push this out so much. But also, let's not forget that this environment that we created for Real Madrid is the reason, personally, I think we also, beat Madrid in such a fashion. So we can't now come and say, oh, you know what? We shouldn't have done it for this game, like we're overdoing it, et cetera, et cetera. Christian, I totally agree with you. I think the tifo was embarrassing. For me personally, what we saw online, we raised 20,000, 30,000, whatever that amount was to put out the tifos. Obviously, they were not in good taste, I would say, probably for most of the fan base, but the intention and the love and what we were trying to achieve from that, I love that. And I think it's based really on the club to communicate that with the fans and say, hey, here's the procedure, here's the rules, here's the standards, here's what you're allowed to follow, and make it a collaborative, a collaborative event where fans are also able to partake and say, hey, this is, how we want to represent our love and our passion for the biggest European game at the Emirates Stadium in a long, long time. So for me, I had no issues with it, but I agree the execution was really, really poor, and really just putting the crest there is just embarrassing for me. So I think the way it all panned out, the club looked good because they turned down, whatever the assessment was for the 3 that we proposed from the supporters group. They were terrible, but then they came down and put a really even worse tifo, which just made the whole thing laughable, in my opinion. So yeah, I think that definitely contributed to the game. And as soon as one goal went in, we could see that we weren't going to create. And I'm sure Lee's going to agree with me on this, but this problem is not something like, this is not new. What we saw yesterday is not new. Us not being able to create, us going around the team, not trying to go through them. We've known this issue for a very, very long time. It was covered up by not making signings in January. And obviously we beat Madrid, etc. Everyone's happy. We forget all of this. And then now we come back, we play against PSG. We can't create, we can't score. And everyone's like, oh, it's our bench. Our bench is so weak. We're doing miracles here.
I agree with a lot of what you're saying. Lee, welcome, man.
Big up, man.
Can I just say, I don't know if you agree with this or if you won't, but I was saying this yesterday as well. I haven't seen a team actually dominate us like that for a few years. Like that first 20, 25 minutes. All right, I've seen us not be great against teams, but fully dominated. We couldn't get near their midfield. We couldn't press their defense. It was wave after wave. That first 20, 25 minutes, we just couldn't get near the ball. We were completely outclassed. Midfield, all right, we were missing Thomas Partey, but come on, you can't lose one player and fall off like that. We were completely outclassed in that first 20, 25 minutes. What do you put that down to, Lee?
Mikel Arteta. We see this every time we play Newcastle, to be fair. We've seen it quite a lot. We've watched this manager go from playing fluid attacking football 2 seasons ago that had us 8 points clear, so now playing, I don't even know what he's trying to do, if I'm honest. It's just defend, get a corner and hope for the best, get a free kick, hope for the best.
But we didn't see that against Madrid, though. Both legs against Madrid, I thought, we were really good. We put it on them. We played our game. We dominated.
Yeah, but to be fair, the first 10, 15 minutes of that first leg, they could have had 2 goals. Mbappe was clean through. Saka passed, miscontrolled the ball or mispassed it, and Vinny was in the box. They could have had a couple of goals. Let's not forget that. Yeah, because we were going for it. Obviously, because we didn't rate them. Let's just be real with it. Yeah, we didn't rate as a club. Yeah, not as fans, because I rate them. Yeah, and people can laugh. Oh yeah, Madrid, whatever. Oh, you overrate them. Well, they've still won more than us this season. They've won 2 trophies. So, and they're still a very good team. The difference is their team is not. What's the word I'm trying to look for? It's not as fluid as PSG's. They got too many moments players. Yeah, they're not a collective. Yeah, individual talent don't always get you out, and it's been proven this season. It's got them out year after year after year, but then what happens is when it don't get them out, they overhaul it and start again. Yeah, they overhaul the manager, they overhaul the playing staff. Perez could possibly leave if he don't sort it out quick. With us, we just go, oh well, it's the bench. Oh well, Thomas Partey. Oh well, but it's a young squad and it's this and that. I've just come off of watch along, watching a 17-year-old boy run rings around everyone. Yeah, absolutely cooked them. When we played Inter Milan, we couldn't lay a glove on them. Yeah, and he's 17. Yeah, they've got their first choice goalkeeper been out all season. They got Szczesny out of retirement. Yeah, I know any Barca fans saying, well, we ain't got ter Stegen. Yeah, they haven't got their first choice striker because Lewandowski's been out injured for a couple of weeks now. Yeah, well, I ain't heard anyone moaning about that. Yeah, they've had their 2 DMs out all season. Yeah, all season. Their left backs out. Yeah, Balde. Yeah, Bernal and Casado are the DMs. Yeah, and then their right back, Kounde, who's actually been on smoke this season. I don't rate him, but he's been quality all season. He went off injured in about 25 minutes in. And they still, yeah, fair enough, they didn't win the game. Yeah, but they still had enough chances to win the game. Fair enough, Inter did as well. Yeah, but let's be real. Right? What do we create? Yeah, I'm watching Pedri run rings around everyone. I'm watching a 17-year-old run rings around everyone. I'm watching Mkhitaryan, 36-year-old Mkhitaryan, have a goal disallowed for a toenail offside. Yeah, and it's like when we look at us yesterday, I feel like not just the fan base, but the club felt that Madrid game, was bigger than this. Yeah, I feel that they even obviously as fans we all go giddy, especially Arsenal fans. We're the giddiest fans out there, right? But I feel like after that Madrid game, let's not forget it was 2 unbelievable free kicks that put us in the lead in that game. He'll never score a free kick like either of them ever again. Let's just be real with it. Yeah, both of them were unbelievable. The second one's one of the best free kicks I've ever seen watching football. Yeah, and I've been watching it long time, obviously. Yeah, but I just feel like that result kind of masked over how poor we've been in the league, and everyone's forgotten about the league, forgotten that actually we've been playing crap all season. We ain't laid a glove on Liverpool. We haven't been top a single day this season. We've dropped 13 draws and 3 losses. That's half of our games we've dropped points in. You know, people can say about injuries all they like. Yeah, injuries are part of the game. They can go about Mohamed Salah's on smoke. Well, we've been here 8 years. Yeah, all the more reason to go and buy a striker.
We were not good enough even before the season started. So I don't agree with, like, yeah, we've been really bad with injuries, but we didn't even have a squad to compete before. So I agree. It's total.
And the thing as well, and the thing for me as well, yeah, is like he hasn't used his squad properly. The first sub yesterday was a right back for a right back. Yeah, when you've got Ethan Sutton on the bench, it probably itching to get on there because he's seeing our captain absolutely stink the gaff out yet again. Yeah, and then he brings him on just as it's clocking on to 90 minutes. Yeah, if I'm in, I'm telling my agent, get me out of here in the summer. Yeah, what's he got to do to get a game? You got Kieran Tierney sat on the bench, right? You could have put Skelly in midfield. Yeah, you could have put Zinchenko in midfield. You could have took Odegaard off and put Zinchenko in number 10. It's his actual position. He played there before Pep signed him. That was his actual role as a footballer. Yeah, you could have put Tierney on.
In a semi-final. I hear you, but yeah,
the thing is, this manager is so rigid in what he wants to do. That game, we've all just watched that game. I take it we've all just watched that Barca game, yeah? No. That game, we all know that Inter can defend. We've seen it firsthand when we played them. Crossing the ball into their box, they just kept headering it. Why were they taking the game to Barca in the second half? Why? Because he adapted it. Yeah, our manager don't adapt. He just sticks with the same thing. Yeah, we see yesterday the one time that Saka switched sides, and it weren't even intentional to switch sides. Yeah, it was just that he dribbled inside, kept going, and then ultimately ended up on that side. Yeah, so Martinelli just run off the other side. That when we watch other teams, yesterday Cavra went over onto the right. They switch sides. When you watch Real Madrid, Vinny switches sides with Rodrigo, or Mbappe are dropping and Vinny go up front. We are so regimental with what we do that eventually it's easy to figure out. Because once you've seen enough tapes of it, yeah, if you don't play us week in, week out like these teams in the Prem, eventually you can just suss us out. And Eddie Howe's got it down to a T. Yeah, and like every time we're playing in Europe this season, let's not forget, yeah, we've scored 7 goals in 1 game. This manager then played most of our starting 11 in the second game. Why? Yeah, Thomas Partey's an idiot for doing what he did in that game. Yeah, but at the same time, Thomas Partey was in the team when we got dog-walked by Bayern Munich last season. Yeah, Thomas Partey was in the team when we couldn't beat Everton this season. Thomas Partey's been in the team multiple times when we dropped points this season. So whilst he's a miss, let's not forget we're still going to have 10 men on the pitch because our captain's awful.
I do think the form Thomas Partey's got himself into now is different to the form Thomas Partey might have been in, you know, some of the games we're talking about. I think it was a massive miss. For me, we almost looked like City without Rodri yesterday. That's how big Partey was. We're missing our best midfielder. You can't forget we're missing Gabriel, our best defender as well. Big up to Kivior though, because he's kind of made all us fans forget about that. No one was really talking about missing Gabriel before because of the levels that he showed.
That's crazy for me. But
I do want to add a bit of balance though. From what I've been seeing online, and don't get me wrong, I'm not happy. I was disappointed with the performance.
You didn't even turn up. I sent you the link.
You sent me a link about 3 a.m., Mal.
It weren't that late. It weren't that late. It weren't that
early. That's early.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, it's early. DJ knows that's early, mate.
But I want to add a little bit of balance. Like I said, don't get me wrong. I'm disappointed after Madrid or the high we were at. But this is a very, very good PSG team, right? There's one team in the league better than us this season. That's Liverpool. This team, in your words, Lee, dog walked Liverpool, right? And that first leg absolutely destroyed them. I know they lost 1-0. They went away to Anfield, beat them. Cool, it went to penalties, and then they won, right? They're a serious team. So they beat a team that's better than us in the league. So a lot of our fans, I don't know why we expected to just turn up and just destroy them.
Do you know what? I thought we'd beat them. I predicted 2-0. I predicted 2-0.
But let me just finish this and then jump in.
Go on, sorry.
So just to add balance to that, this is a team, like I said, that had knocked out a team that's better than us already and showed them levels, showed that they were levels above Liverpool, right? To add to that, it was only 1-0. I've seen people say, you know, it's done, we're out, there's no way we can beat them. We created chances yesterday. Martinelli had a one-on-one, should have scored. Trossard had a one-on-one. For some, I've watched that chance 5 or 6 times. All he's got to do, take it onto your right foot and put it in the corner. He takes it onto his left. Great save from Donnarumma. Marino, offside goal. Saka, I'm counting that as a chance for Saka when he tackled Nuno Mendes, because he would have been in, and that's not a
one-on-one.
Right?
That was a foul. That was a foul. He pushed him.
It was not a foul.
It was. He pushed him, and he stood on his ankle.
For me,
he pushed him.
I also think Saka's got to keep his head. You can't kick that away. A little bit of discipline. Partey, what he did in the second leg, you can't lose your head there. Saka, don't kick that away, man. So just balance on that. I know we've lost. I know it wasn't great, but they're a very good team. It's only 1-0. We're going to have Partey back in the second leg. That's just a bit of balance. Don't get me wrong. I'm not happy with it.
Absolutely.
But it's not the end of the world. We're not out.
We're not out of the tie. Like, the tie's not over. People were saying that it's 1-0. We're acting like this is a 3-0, 4-0. But I think what Lee's saying and what I think some of the frustration is like, okay, it's 1-0, but we cannot score. We cannot create. As he said, I also believe we beat Madrid because of those 2 Rice goals. I don't think if we don't score those 2 free kicks, the game is completely different. And we don't even score the 3rd goal. The only reason we scored the 3rd goal is because we were just so ahead with the 2 goals that they had to come out, and then we scored from open play. We struggle to create from open play. We've known this for time, which is why we should have brought Fabio Vieira back in January when we made the mistake of getting rid of Smith Rowe and Reece Nelson without replacing them. But yeah, in reality, the tie is not over. It's just how now are we going to go and create and dominate and be intentional. Yesterday, we are too slow in possession. Way too slow, way too slow. Look at how Barca played today. Tap, 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 move the ball, move players out of position. All we're trying to do is go round and round. What was David Raya doing? What was Saliba doing? We're literally trusting Saliba to play and be the creator out of the back to create chances for us. Like, what I saw yesterday gave me PTSD when we used to play around with the back. Xhaka or Mustafi would make a mistake and we concede a stupid goal. That's what yesterday felt like to me. Yesterday felt like we played with Marino at striker for so long that we forgot how to play with him back in midfield and with Trossard up front. It just felt like the tactic completely went out the window. And I agree with Lee. Some frustration that I have with Arteta is like, okay, cool. That's great. Your starting 11 was great. We had a plan. It was clearly not working. You got to change it. He's too stubborn. He's like, my plan is going to work. My plan is going to work. And then he waits. And it's too late. Nwaneri should have been brought on in the 70th or 75th minute. Look, I know he isn't there yet. I'm not saying he should be starting, but when Odegaard is completely missing out of the game and you need to bring creativity, you need to bring someone that can make an impact, he was the only player for me that could come on. And he came on and he almost set up a chance within 5 minutes. So I think that's something that Arteta needs to improve on in the second half. Again, we're talking about Thomas Partey missing. Completely agree, Christian. I think we got run through because Partey wasn't there. But Partey coming back in the second leg doesn't fix our creation, chance creation issues. So I agree with what Lee's saying. We've been in positions this season where Partey has played and we've still lost. We've still struggled to create. And that is the same feeling that I have for the next leg. But that doesn't mean that we're out the game. I totally believe that if we score early.
But you know what it is, guys? The common denominator, every time you talk about lack of creativity and struggling to break teams down, well, our most creative player in the last couple of years hasn't turned up this season. Everyone's having conversations about him. I've seen loads of titles on YouTube channels. We've got to have a conversation about this guy. On the comments, we've got to have a conversation about this guy. Let's have it then. Let's have it.
I'm going to bring it up next. He was absolutely dreadful last night. I think he's been absolutely dreadful this season. I don't want people in the comments to get this misconstrued, or Lee. I've said he's been awful this season. My argument has just been that I've seen levels from him over the past couple of years where I'm hopeful that he's going to get back to it. But last night, he was worst player on the pitch by a mile.
Here's where I'm at with Odegaard. If we can see it as a fan base, and if we can see it as people that have played football, fans that have played football, fans that have not played football, that just watch football religiously. If we can see it, why can't a man being paid £15 million a year can't see it? Why does he continue to persevere with this guy when he's got a young talent in Nwaneri? And just because he doesn't fit his criteria of plan A and he can't change to plan B because he hasn't got one, he kind of sticks with Odegaard as if to say, no, this is what I'm doing. He doesn't play this young kid don't play the way I play. He doesn't play the way, he doesn't track back, he doesn't defend. So I'm going to bomb him out. I'm going to do it subtly, but I'm going to do it. And you can see the signs already what he's going to do with Ranieri. He doesn't like him. And he hasn't got the capabilities. He hasn't got the capabilities to bring him on or to adapt to how Ranieri wants to play. So that's me with Odegaard. Another thing with this guy is yesterday he's not prepared to gamble and make changes. His in-game management, once again, on the big stage, is found wanting. And this ain't a new thing. This is semi-finals, FA Cups, coming runners-up in the league, bottling an 8-point lead. This is continually being shown by this man. If he was to gamble and take a chance, and as Lee said, put Tierney at left back, bring Skelly in the midfield, I would have kept Marino up front because he bought Marino as a midfield player and now he's a substitute number 9 because when we bring him back into midfield, he's absolutely crap. So what a waste of money that was. So once again, he's wasted money on a player that we didn't even need at the start of the season, right? But if you're going to play Marino, keep him where he's been effective. He could have then bought Zinchenko in midfield. He could have bought Skelly in the midfield. This captain needs to be dropped. He needs to be made. He made an example of Aubameyang when he walked through the door. Why can't he make an example to the rest of the team over his captain? You ain't doing it. You ain't doing it for this team. You've had enough chances. I'm now going to drop you, and I'm going to bring this young kid in, or I'm going to change the system. I'm going to change a few things around to adapt to how I want to play. But he hasn't got that. He just sticks to the same system week in, week out. We sit on the terraces and we watch the game, and I'm going, how is he still on for 89 minutes? How is this guy running around in circles for 89 minutes? Yeah. And then he changes Timber because Timber is absolutely shot to pieces, where he's been overplayed all season after coming back from an ACL. He's now absolutely knackered. Literally just sat on the floor as if to say, please get me off, I've had enough. You know, and this is where we're at. And until people actually wake up and stop taking individual moments like the Man City result when we beat them 5-1, the Real Madrid result, other results when we go and slap teams on a one-off basis, when people can stop grabbing hold of those one-off moments and actually look consistently over the course of the season, week in, week out, game in, game out, and actually analyse how we play, then nothing's going to change, guys. We will be back here again having the same conversations, missing out on finals, missing out on trophies, missing out on premierships, because this man has got one way of playing. He can't change it. He hasn't got a plan B. He can't adapt to in-game situations, right? And he is now. His signings have been dreadful. He's the money he's wasted. I've had people come on. I was on a chat earlier on, and there was comments saying, "Oh, it's the ball. It's the ball." When are fans going to stop making excuses for this manager? And now everyone's trying to blame the crowd, the Arsenal crowd. Why? Because they want to deflect away from the manager. And he never takes responsibility. If he'd have come out last night and said, I got it wrong, my mistake, I got it wrong, I would have perhaps have had a little bit of ounce of...
Instead, DJ, he came out and mentioned that we beat Real Madrid 3-0.
No.
As if say, oh, look, I beat Real Madrid 3-0.
What most fans bait, Lee, that he grabs onto moments. He grabs onto one.
He sounds like a fan online, yeah, in his press conferences. Yeah. I do the press conference reactions every single game pretty much, yeah. He says stuff that is identical to what the fans say. Oh, but it's unprecedented what we've achieved with the situations we've had this season with the injuries. Oh, but we had 3 chances last night. Yeah, Martinelli, we had a goal that was disallowed by a millimetre. And Trossard, he mentioned that. Well, our fans have mentioned that. Yes, that is fact. But when he sits in press conferences, he always goes back to, Well, it's unprecedented with all the injuries we've had. Mate,
But then
Barcelona
you
ain't got their
talk
fucking
about
first
margin.
choice keeper, their first choice striker, their first choice DM, their first choice left back. Yeah, and now they ain't got their first choice right back because he went off in the game injured.
But Lee,
What are they doing?
Exactly.
And they've got a new manager and the youngest squad in the league.
But then he talks about fine margins. Oh, it's fine margins, and we need to do this, and we need to. Well, if you know it's fine margins, why then, when we lost the league last season by a fine margin, are you not signing a striker and giving me a midfield player that is now our backup number 9, a centre half that you play at left back when we already had left backs that can't play left back? He's okay going forward in straight lines. And yet this is a guy telling me about fine margins. Well, if you know the fine margins, why didn't you do the right thing in the summer?
After telling us after the Bayern game, we ain't got a striker who can put a ball in the back of the net like Harry Kane. His words.
Yeah. It's just, honestly...
he does whatever it takes to keep himself in a job.
Fed up with it. I'm really fed up with it. And fans living in the past. Oh, well, look where we were, as if we were Southampton fighting relegation and this guy's brought us up to make us challenge. Do you know what I mean?
I wonder who's on this panel.
It's tiring, man. It's tiring. It really is.
Sorry,
big upside in the chat as well.
I love a bit of mischief, but I wonder who said that on this panel about where he's taking us and about how many points he got, 84 to 89. Oh, sorry, Christian, I didn't see you there, mate.
Skelly, man, I thought we were pals.
No, Christian understands. No, it's fine. I'm not digging anyone. Listen, I'm not digging anyone out. I'm just telling you how I feel as a fan, as a passionate fan.
You know what?
I've said it all along. I've said it all along, Kenny. Sorry, mate. I'll let you talk. I'll let you land in a minute, my friend. Sorry. I've said it all along. I'm only saying this from my point of view. Yeah, and I can only see what I'm seeing, and I'm seeing excuses. I'm seeing bad signings. I'm seeing a captain that's not good enough to play for this football club, let alone be captain. I think there's better number 10s out there, more creative number 10s. I'm seeing players not improving under this manager. I'm seeing one-off moments with this football team. I'm seeing us go out of FA Cups. I'm seeing us go out of semi-finals. And then I turn up yesterday and watch that. And that to me is the icing on the cake. Yeah. Me personally, I want him gone. I think his time has come. I think he's had his 5 years plan. He's had his phases, and the project it's not worked. It hasn't worked.
Before we get into Mikel, can we just? I just want to speak about Odegaard just a little bit more. For me, that was a player that, he looked finished, man. He couldn't find a forward pass every time he got the ball. First touch wasn't good enough. This is our captain, man. This is a guy I believed in. I think he was, one of our top 3 players over the past 2-3 years. And he just looks a shell of himself. African Guna, for you, does this look like a player that could get back to his best at some point? Or do you think, for Arsenal, might be without Martin Odegaard?
So difficult because I've been one of those Arsenal fans that knows that Odegaard has been crap this season, and I've had some struggles with him, especially with his shooting and some of his decision making. I don't think he's attacking enough for my liking. I want an attacking midfielder that wants to shoot at any cost. Someone like Bruno Fernandes, right, who can score a lot of goals from different places, not just scoring at the bottom corner from long range. That's really the only goal that Odegaard can score, and he doesn't even score that anymore. So it's definitely been poor this season. I think that obviously the off-field stuff has part play. People don't consider it, but he had a kid. I know that's not the be it end all, but it does change someone's life, I think, personally for me. And I think
sorry to cut in. He's not the first footballer. And he won't
I
be
know.
the last footballer to have a kid.
I'm not making it as an excuse. I'm just listing it as one of the few reasons why I think maybe his form has come down. And I think also that he has.
It's not like he's breastfeeding, is it?
No, I know. I'm just saying. But if you're an adult, it is a life-changing moment. Whatever capacity that is affecting him, I have no comment on that. I'm just raising it as a potential flag of maybe one of the reasons that could contribute to him, not being on form this season. I also think obviously the injury has played a fact, and I also think we've over-depended on him, and he has no competition. He feels very comfortable. I don't think that he's a great leader. I think we've seen that he dictates the press. He's the one who starts it. But if we're being honest, Gabriel and Declan Rice are the two natural leaders in this team, and we all know it. I don't think we're going to strip him. I don't think we're going to sell him this summer. I do think we need to replace him, and ironically, we have so much to do. I just don't see us getting an attacking midfielder this summer, guys. I think we need a striker, we need a winger, we need another defensive midfielder, we need another center back, we need a backup goalie, and like after all of that, then we're gonna, you know how the club is gonna be. We spend too much money. We're gonna wait till next summer to get that attacking midfielder. So that's gonna be really.
But the thing is, African Gooner, guys, we did that last season.
I know.
But you know what it is? I was shocked. And I'm not having a go at the fans or anyone on this panel. I was stunned when people were surprised at our transfer activity. Because I've seen Arsenal do so many times where they spend big. Whenever Arsenal spend big in a transfer window, then the club have to make sacrifices. All people saying, "Oh yeah, but we sold this player and this player." We know we did. Smith Rowe is a fringe player. Eddie Nketiah is a fringe player. Reece Nelson is a fringe player. You please, if you could tell me how they were part of our team last season, how they were like, how to say it.
No, agree. Kenny can, but if you sell them, you have to replace them.
Let me finish. That they were catalysts. You're selling players who are fringe players. Of course, you're going to get rid of them. But if you want to balance the books and get the men that you need in, you've got to make a sacrifice. This season, whether we like it or not, like Kerry's Odegaard, Martinelli, or any of our players, if you want all these players like your Goykereses, your Zubamendi's, and your backup goalkeeper Garcia, you've got to balance the books. It's no good. You're going to have to get wages off. You're going to have to get a big player that we feel clubs will need. If that's Martinelli, fine. If that's Odegaard, fine. In terms of like the situation regarding Martin Odegaard, this is a situation where your best midfielder's not playing. Arguably, your best player's not playing. Boo-hoo. The big teams always lose big players in big games. We've lost we lost count the amount of times a big player's missed a World Cup final. Pele missed a 1962 World Cup final. Brazil still bloody went and won it. The fact is that Arsenal, as a team, we can't cope with when our best players ain't playing in a big game.
Our best players, yeah.
We don't know what to do ourselves. Everything is all like it mapped out for us that we can't adapt. You know, whether you like or not, said, "Oh, this guy shouldn't have played. Marino's playing up top, and that he's better up top than he's midfield." Well, hang on here. We've had about 2 weeks to get the grips as to Partey's not playing. If Marino plays in midfield, if anyone plays in midfield, we still should have the tactical discipline and the leadership within ourselves in order to cope with what's in front of us. It's football. It's a simple game.
But we haven't been all season, so why would you expect that we were going to do that yesterday?
The reason why is because it's what you've got to do. You have to be able to debate.
But we just all said as a panel that Arteta only has one style and he doesn't change that.
He only has one style. But you know why it didn't work? You know the real reason why it didn't work yesterday and it worked 2 weeks ago? We didn't play Real Madrid. We played Mbappe, Vinicius Juniors, Courtois, and Bellingham. We didn't play a team. We played individuals and a manager who's making up as he goes along.
With loads of injuries, by the way.
Yeah, even though we've got those injuries, I think even if we had their full team, we wouldn't be playing a team. Yesterday, we played a team. And that team worked us out because they learned from what happened in September. They remembered, you know what? We made two glaring mistakes in the first half and Arsenal shut the game down. This ain't going to happen again. Whilst us, we're still celebrating. We're still celebrating beating Real Madrid. But we forgot that we were poor against Crystal Palace. We forgot about Brentford. We took our bad habits from the Premiership into yesterday. We got found out, whether we like it or not. We can't just say it's not a different competition. No.
That form's not been good recently, is it?
Same players, same mentality, same mistakes, and same inability to cope without your best players, and the same inability for the manager to adapt when plan B. And the reason why he can't adapt is because he always has to use the same personnel. You guys talked about Timber limping. I didn't notice it. But when I saw Ben White come on, my heart sank.
They threw him back on for 12 more minutes, Kenny.
Yeah.
You know what I think of Ben White? I love Ben White up to a point. But as a defender, he's a disaster. So I just pray that Timber doesn't play
That's
on
harsh.
Saturday, and that he's fit next week. Because if Ben White plays against,
Kvaratskhelia.
Kvaratskhelia,
Any defender that plays against that guy is getting rinsed because he's just that good. Let's be honest.
But he's not though, is he? Let's be real. Yeah, that team in Napoli. I'm not saying he's bad, but that Napoli team finished 8th last season with him in it, and he played every game, nearly every game.
Yeah.
So let's be real. So Empoli and Lecce and all these teams, well, they locked him up, didn't they? So why can't we?
He's a good player, man.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's a bad player, but what you're saying is he'll get cooked against any team is complete nonsense. Yeah, this is the thing, yeah, right? When you look at our captain, right, this manager, he is the perfect captain for this manager. Yeah, because that captain came out yesterday, we're going to go full gas in Paris. His words. Or what? You're going to make 2 passes in the first half an hour instead of 1 then? Yeah, like, what are you doing here? Like, bro, I swear down, I'm in my 40s. I reckon I could have made more than 1 pass in the first half an hour of that game. Yeah, and people are shocked that this is happening. He's been shit since he's got here. I told everyone 3 years ago. Thankfully, everyone's waking up. So let's be real with it. Yeah, Martinelli, 29, and Saka have bailed that geezer out for 3 years, and he had a little purple patch where he got the 15 goals. Even our manager came out and said that was an anomaly. His words in a press conference. Now, Saka's not fully fit. Yeah, and we can see he ain't fully fit. Let's not be stupid here. He ain't fully fit. We're now risking him for next season, by the way, by playing him. Yeah, and yeah, he scored against Everton the other week, and he done very well in the games against Madrid and so on and so forth. But let's not pretend like this couldn't come back to haunt us next season. I don't want to hear no excuses next season if he's out injured. Yeah, because everyone's been gassing it up about him backing him back, right? Martinelli's now missing chances. Well, who knew? He's been missing chances his whole career at Arsenal. Yeah, the only time he was actually clinical, funny enough, was when he played under Emery as a striker when he first got here. 10 goals in 12 games. And then this manager's turned him into an Olympic sprinter, yeah, touchline winger, up and down the pitch, slide tackling at fullback. Now, we've got a striker who ain't a striker that he decides, actually, do you know what I'll do? Yeah, I'll put him back in midfield, mate, and I'll put Trossard up front. What?
But Trossard has been on good form and he's been scoring in the last few games.
Yeah, but this is the point, African Guna. This is the point. You can't keep putting pieces in different areas because they're in good form in this game and that game. He scored a couple of goals here, so let's put him up there. And now let's move him here. Eventually your luck runs out. I'm not saying we're not through, because I don't think we're going to qualify. If we do, we're getting banged in the final. Yeah, we're getting banged in the final. From what I've seen tonight, and I think Inter will do Barca. I've said that Inter will win it from the start. Yeah, but from what I've seen of our captain, this manager will not drop him. Yeah, when we were just talking in the private a minute ago, yeah, right, bro. The reason he will not drop him for Ethan, when he had the opportunity to do it, to get Ethan's blood him in, get his minutes in when he was out injured for 2 months, 57 days, whatever it was, missed 9 games. He was bringing him on with 3 minutes to go in a game, 6 minutes to go, 9 minutes to go. If he really, really fancied him as a player, yeah, he would have been putting him in from the get-go. Then when he did start against Brentford, he got hooked off at half-time, right? And we've barely seen him since. The reason he don't want to drop this captain is because he does exactly what he is told. Keep the ball, protect the ball, don't give it away aimlessly because we can get countered because we're inverting and everyone's forward. We could get done on the counter. Yeah, and now we've only got a couple of centre-backs and Thomas Partey filling in, or Declan Rice if he's not up there and Partey's out injured, he'll be there. Now, the keeper's always out of goal. I've been saying all season he's getting lobbed. He could have got lobbed 4 times against Palace. Yeah, he could have been lobbed 4 times against Newcastle. He could have been... The amount of times we've seen him legging it back that way this season is embarrassing.
And but again, they were targeting that as well, they knew.
But I don't necessarily blame all of these players. Yeah, the Saliba fuck-ups the last couple of games before yesterday with Odegaard and Raya in the Madrid game and the Palace game. I don't blame them. Yeah, they're stupid, but there's no communication. That's where I blame them. Yeah, but the manager is telling them to do that. When our goalkeeper gives the ball out to Saliba, he runs off to the left out of his goal to fill in as a centre left back, centre back. Yeah, so then Skelly can push forward. So he can. But now, any team that press you, you're getting finished. Yeah, and this is the point. Yeah, that I'm going to land on this point. Right? This manager is a coward when it comes to dropping his top players. Yeah, Saka should not be on that pitch. I've said it from day one from that injury. Yeah, yes, he's been playing okay, but he's not fully fit. He's ducking out of tackles. He's still doing it yesterday, by the way. He's not 100 mile an hour up and down the pitch, and that is going to haunt us next season. I'm adamant of that. Right? Not only that, it will not take him off, even if we're 4-0 up. We played Lons last season. We were 3-4-0 up in 20 minutes. He played the whole game nearly. I think he did play the whole game. When we beat Palace 5, he played the whole game. Preston, he brought him on with 3-0 up. Yeah, Party brought him on 3-0 up. This guy is so regimented with 15 players. The rest of them he couldn't care less about. And that is why we ain't winning nothing. He has got to 5 semi-finals, this manager. 2 in Europe. Yeah, and we ain't scored a single fucking goal. Yeah, in the last 6 games in Europe. Yeah, in semi-finals. Sorry, in the last 6 games, semi-finals. Obviously, we've played more semi-final legs overall. Yeah, but this guy is not it, bro. He's that close, then he falls out and can't get over the line. He's that close in the league, he can't get over the line. Real talk, 5 semi-finals, you've made 1 final. You finished second 3 times. The guy ain't it, bro. Yeah, the captain ain't it.
I got those semi-final stats here. Let me do these super chats and I'll bring in Igal.
Nice to turn up again. Obviously, you couldn't yesterday either.
You're welcome, man. Right, we got Chaitanya Cowell says, this was at 6:39 p.m. Big up, man. You were waiting a while. To win Champions League, it requires peak performance from every player. Yesterday was average and PSG showed us that. 100% agree. Expect another 1-0 loss in Paris. Take inspiration from the women's team doing Madison Paris. To be fair, the women's team lost 2-1 against Lyon at home in the first leg. Then they went away and beat them 4-1. So,
and Lyon are the second best team in the world.
If we can do it, exactly. If we can do anything,
they're getting banged by Barca in the final. I can't lie. Barca women's team are mad.
It's def a colour thing with a nice Egal picture there. Says, I got a stat. Arsenal only team not to score UCLs. Fair enough. Mix Mitchell says, give Arteta another year and renew Odegaard's contract and double his wage. He. Adju says, few words about Tifo and atmosphere. I don't know if you saw the start of the show, man, but we spent a good 10-15 minutes talking about that Tifo, man. Yeah. Ricky Proctor says, Lee and Kenny, with all his goals and dribbling quality Ethan has showed, why is Ethan not playing more?
Because he don't look after the ball. Odegaard does. He takes too many risks. Yeah, which is good, but it'll give the turnover of the ball and then they're on the counter. And then we've seen multiple times, 1, 2, 3, they're in. Yeah, Odegaard, don't do that as often.
He should have come on 15, 20 minutes earlier.
He don't protect the ball often.
He showed more in 5 minutes than Odegaard did in the whole game.
And guys, Ethan's useless off the ball. Sorry.
Yeah, facts.
Off the ball.
But he's still young, guys.
Yeah, but so's Lamine Yamal, and he's just won another game of football tonight.
You're talking about like a wonder kid. There's going to be only one Yamal in the whole world. There's not going to be.
No, there ain't. We've seen so many examples of this. Come on, what are we doing? There's so many examples of this. But I'm not using the exception as the rule. Yeah, there's so many examples of it not taking time for managers and for players.
So list a couple of other players that are on Yamal's level.
Well, for me, he's the best player in the world. However,
that's what I'm saying. You can't use him as a benchmark.
However, Rafinha, would you have took him at Arsenal last summer? You probably wouldn't. But he's bagged 30-odd goals this season.
I would have taken him when we first got linked with him.
Okay, well, fair enough. But Rafinha, Rafinha's bagged 30-odd goals this season. He scored a screamer again tonight. Yeah, but this is my point. They've got a manager that allows them to play football, and he's not scared to take off his big players. He takes Pedri off most games after 70 minutes.
But he also has players to replace, and I agree with you. That's Arteta's fault for not having those players.
Bro, they're kids. They're all young. You're saying give them time. Kabasi's just turned 18. He's been playing for 2 years straight in their first team. Kabasi, the centre-back at Barca.
Yes.
He's been playing for 2 years straight in their first team. Why? Well, he's young. It takes time, but it ain't took him time because he's a mainstay in their first team. Yeah, so Kounde.
We're saying because Nwaneri is bad off the ball right now.
Why hasn't it taken Skelly time? Because Skelly's the same age. He's 1 year older, if that. Why hasn't it taken Skelly time? Nobody's mentioned Skelly's age and it takes time. Why? Because he's doing the business. So excuses for age are only when the player's not doing it. That's it.
I'm not making excuses. I think we're making assessments so quickly to disregard Nwaneri because he's not good.
Not disregarding him. We're saying this manager's a coward. No, because you're not listening, bro. Respectfully, you're not listening.
The point over Odegaard because he hasn't grown and hasn't had the time to be coached.
No, bro, it's not about that. It's about the manager is a coward. It's not about the player being bad because I fucking rate the guy. Yeah, it's about him not wanting to play him. Yeah, because he don't protect the ball like Odegaard does. He keeps the ball. Odegaard takes 1 billion. Yesterday, 27 passes He completed 24 of them. Ethan ain't doing that, bro. Yeah, Ethan had dribble past you, lose the
Very
ball, run it
different
out of play.
players.
Now
Not
they've
the
got the
same.
ball.
They're not
No,
the
they are
same
very
player.
different players, but that's not the point. Yeah, the point is this manager could play him there. He didn't, and he doesn't. He could have played him constantly when Saka was out. Instead, he did for a little bit and then hooked him at half time and totally killed his confidence. Yeah, shit in-game management, shit man management. This manager is the biggest single problem with that team because I think Odegaard can be better than he's showing. I think Saka could go up levels with if Saka was playing for Hansi Flick right now. Yeah, he ain't going to be as good as Jamal. Let's not be stupid. Yeah, but it'd be better than what he's shown for the whole of this season. And he's been decent this season, Saka. Yeah, and he's forcing himself into playing again with injury. Yeah, but he could go up levels if you just let the shackles off him. This manager, you have to stay in that part of the pitch, and if you don't, you're hooked. Yeah, and we've seen it multiple times, especially on the other side. He has his favourites. Saka and Odegaard are his two fucking star boys, and he'll just do whatever to keep them in the team.
Here you go. Yeah, let me bring you in here, bro, because me and you, we're two guys that definitely believe in Mikel. We're far from Arteta out. Definitely still believe in him, but sometimes you have to look at facts. I'm looking at our last 6 semi-finals, right? 0-0 against Villarreal, 0-0 against Liverpool, lost 2-0 against Liverpool, lost 2-0 against Newcastle, again lost 2-0 against Newcastle, and then yesterday lost 1-0 against PSG. Sometimes facts don't lie. What's your feeling on that? What's your feeling about what Lee just said in terms of, Arteta's the one holding these players back?
You know what? Sometimes it's poor execution. Sometimes it's down to the manager. Honestly, I'm not going to go through every game, but in that game versus PSG, it was poor execution. It was PSG showing that they were ready for it in the first 20 minutes, and we were kind of off our pace. And in the first 20 minutes, that's pretty much where the game was won and lost. We made one silly mistake leading to the goal. Nobody really tracked Ousmane Dembele from the midfield. You had Moreno and Odegaard outside the not even close to the man that ended up scoring the goal. And then from the rest of the game, we really did focus, but we already made the mistake. It's small margins in these semifinals and all these games, and where we messed up was that opening goal. And from there, it was pretty much we were chasing the game the rest of the time. Bravery has been an issue. In these kind of games, we need to show we're brave. We need to show what we're capable of doing on the ball, and we're incapable of doing that at certain times. And even when we did get the chances, it fell to Trossard, it fell to Martinelli, and they were both not clinical. Now, don't get me wrong, it could have been worse yesterday. It could have been a lot worse, and also at the same time, it could have been a situation where Arsenal could have scammed the result. But at the end of the day, you could put it on the manager, you can put it on the player. But personally, for me, I'm looking at the substitutes and the players available, and I'm saying to myself, Mikel Arteta definitely could have done better. But at the same time, he is kind of hamstrung, and some of these players did not turn up. Martinelli threw on goal 1v1, messed up again. Trossard threw on goal 1v1 once again, messed up. And to blame guys like Saka and Raya, I thought they were one of the guys who stepped up. So I don't know if I answer your question properly, but bro, Arteta is not faultless. He clearly made mistakes in yesterday's game, and one of them being substitutions. He could have made changes earlier to not make a change until the 83rd minute in a game where we're losing 1-0. You have to look at yourself as a manager, be like, what am I doing to impact the game over the 90 minutes to make a difference? The boys were talking about Odegaard. Odegaard as a captain, he did not step up again, and it is becoming a repetitive thing. As much as we blame the manager for their performances, we have to look at some of these players. And Martin Odegaard, once again, showing that he's not stepping up in these games. And for how long are we going to hold the manager accountable for these performances when certain guys are not stepping up? Also, both the players and the manager are at fault, and the main culprits are that. And you know something else? I'll hold my hand up and I'll be like, you know what, Ken, there was something you said to me a couple of months ago, and I took it as an insult, but you're spot on. It's not that Declan Rice is better at the 6 or the 8. It's that he's more valuable to Arsenal as an 8. And his capabilities are more valuable to us as an 8, winning the ball higher up the pitch, ability to help us in the transition, ability to help us in the defensive third and the offensive third as another player who can help us win the ball higher up the pitch. And his passing range limits us in that 6th position compared to a person like Partey or Jorginho or Zubimendi. So I'll give it up to you. You're spot on about that. And I was holding and when it comes to me getting stuff wrong, I'm the first person to put my hand up. Definitely agree with you that Declan Rice is a better 8 than a 6 now. And Thomas Partey, boys, Thomas Partey is well and truly missed. And to a large portion of the fan base who want Thomas Partey gone, this is why we're looking at Zubimendi. This is why we need another person coming in that can play with the ball at their feet, because one change into the team and we looked distraught for the first 20 minutes. You had no Partey. You had Mikel Moreno playing as the 8, not able to do have the same impact as when he was forward a couple of weeks ago. Leandro Trossard, I'm not gonna lie to you, there's times where I look at him and I say to him, he's a try-hard. He doesn't really do much sometimes in these games. You got Odegaard can't get onto the ball because there's nobody to get him the ball, and it really messed up 3 positions. And I seen Lee Judge's post where he's saying we should have just played Miles Lewis-Skelly in midfield. Well, it's not that simple, unfortunately, to just say, you know what, do something we've never done before as a solution.
Why not play Zinchenko there then?
I don't think he was going to do that in this kind of game.
Why? He plays there. He plays there for his country.
I don't think he rates Zinchenko. I don't think he rates Zinchenko on the same level as he rates, what do you call it, some of these other players.
Marino. So you think he don't rate Zinchenko as highly as Marino? That's crazy. Yeah, well, that tells me all I need. If you think that's what he thinks, and he does actually think that, let's say he thinks that, yeah, all more reason to bin him then. Yeah, because if you think Zinchenko is not technically light years clear of Mikel Marino, that is wild.
That's wild.
So would you have played Zinchenko in 6? Is that what you're saying? No,
I would have played Rice there, and I would have put Zinchenko in the 8. Yeah, and I would have played Ethan in the 10 and binned the captain off.
Regardless, the issue for Arsenal was,
and then I would have played Skelly. You could have played Skelly left back still, and he could invert in, which push Zinchenko further forward because he's got Rice there to help protect with Skelly.
The issue I think we had was Miles Lewis-Skelly was the only person who was making line-breaking passes from the midfield. Moreno was not doing so. Declan Rice was not doing so. And then it caused us problems overall from when it comes to our creativity. If you guys want to blame Arteta, he deserves criticism. If you want to blame the players, they all deserve criticism. I don't think anyone comes out of that game, especially the performance we had in the first 20 minutes and comes out of that game.
Yeah, 20 minutes is only 20 minutes ago. Yeah, it's like, listen, it's a 90-minute game plus stoppage time, right? Well, it's actually half time in the game.
In the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, we did, but we still had another 70 minutes plus stoppage time to go and nick a goal and go and get anher goal. Yeah,
and you know something? Those players were ineffective in the final third.
Yeah, and where was our leader on the pitch? Where was the person? Yeah, I'm assuming you just watched that game tonight. Yeah. As soon as they went 2-0 down after 20 minutes, yeah, who was the one that went, give me the fucking ball, I'm dragging us through this? Do you know who it was? Youngest player on the pitch, mate. Yeah, where's our player? Where's our player? No, I'm not saying Saka. I never mentioned Saka. I'm saying, where is our player that's going to go, give me the ball? Yeah, we are not losing this game today, mate. And they were 2-0 down, and the 17-year-old boy went, give me the ball, mate. I'm winning. I'm going to do this. Yeah, fair enough, they didn't win, but he was the best player on the pitch. Dumfries got man of the match, which is cool. His goal was mad. Both goals were mad. But the boy said, give me the ball. Where's our player that says, give me the ball?
Our Sanchez.
Not only that, though, Lee. Where's the manager to change it? Okay. I understand what Igal says. You know, he don't trust Zinchenko, or he don't want to start with Zinchenko here and Skelly there. Okay, cool. But when the game is panning out and you're watching it as a coach and a manager and the game's panning out and things are not happening, then you can change. Then you can think, oh, hang on a minute, I'm bringing Zinchenko on here. I'm going to put him in the 8. I'm going to take Odegaard off. I'm going to put Wanyeri on in the 10. Change it up. Do something different. Make it happen. You know, this is what I'm saying. The players need a leader where they can try something different. he never done that. So I can understand on one hand on saying, okay, this is how we're going to start the game, and he starts the game. 20 minutes in, you're thinking, okay, hang on, we're 1-0 down. Then you get to half time and it's only 1-0. But in that dressing room, you're thinking as a coach, no, it's still not happening here. I'm still not comfortable with this. I'm going to make changes. And he doesn't do it.
He said in his press conference after the game that he changed something tactically. He said after 20-25 minutes, he noticed something was wrong. And we tweaked something, which I do understand. I do think after 25 minutes.
Does anyone know what we tweaked?
What did he tweak? I can't.
I know what he tweaked. I'll tell you exactly what he tweaked. I'll tell you what he tweaked. He said just kick it from the goalkeeper long, because that goalkeeper never kicks long, mate. He kept kicking long to Saka.
What did he do then? What did he do? I was in the stadium, I saw him tweaking.
He told Declan Rice sit in deeper and don't dribble too far from.
Well, if Rice was sat in deeper, then Dembele don't score in the first place.
But Rice was the only one.
Rice was next time.
When the clock was running down and we still needed a goal, Rice was the only one, to be fair of him, that was getting the ball, trying to drive and trying to make things happen. No one else was doing that. So if he was told to sit deeper, I'm glad he started to ignore them, the coach, again.
He was the only one who drove through midfield. Yeah. And he set up that chance for, was it Martinelli or Trossard?
This is what I can't understand. Listen, you can blame players, you can blame signings, and it's true what Kenny Ken says. You can do all of that. But when you cross that white line, it's the buck stops at the manager. The manager picks the team. The manager sets up the tactics. The manager gives the instructions. The manager plays the system. And it's down to the manager to change it. He must look to see what's going. I've played football, guys, honestly. When things are not going right, I've been hooked off. And and everyone... This is what I'm trying to say. You change. Your in-game management, you have to change it up. And this guy repeatedly does not do that.
DJ, next week, right, we're going to have Thomas Partey back here, and everyone's getting gassed. Oh, yeah, we'll have Partey back next week. Different game.
We had Partey last season, Lee.
No,
he was
DJ, do you generally think that Luis Enrique ain't going to go, cool, well, it's going to be harder to pass through midfield now, so what we do is we go down the wing instead?
I'm going to give you my honest opinion.
Do you think he ain't going to do that? This guy's actually won 5 trophies in 1 year, including this.
I'll be happy to come on after and eat my words, and I'll be gassed up and I'll be over the moon. But I'm going to, if someone was to say to me now, what do you think is going to happen in the second leg? We're out. We're done. I'm sorry.
I agree. We have to win at home, mate. We have to win at home.
There is a way around it.
And it's true what Christian said. I watched this team batter Liverpool. Absolutely batter Liverpool. They're 1-0 up now. And when Arsenal are coming to town, come on, make it make sense. What are they going to do to us?
There is a way around it. There is a way around it. First and foremost, PSG, if they want to get through to Munich, they've got to play the same way they played yesterday. Because they don't, then they're absolute morons. They're going to invite us in. The biggest problem we got a decision has to be made, and the best managers make decisions that will hurt someone, but for the good of the team.
Yeah,
you Thomas Partey back. You have to look at Odegaard and say, "Look, I don't know if I can trust you in that game, because this is a game where I expect you to turn up." Do you get Zinchenko and say, "You know what, mate? Get Odegaard to come on to setting off and play him in the Odegaard position," because we got to have that conversation. We can't play.
I'd rather give Nwaneri the chance than give Zinchenko.
All right, look, hang on. Let's have this conversation. You're talking about getting a youngster who doesn't trust off the ball. All right, but we're trying to win the game. All right, you've got a game where your captain hasn't turned up. We carried in the extra. We got away with it. In the games against the league, which are preparations for Europe, he hasn't turned up. In a game that you needed him to turn up,
Ken, he should have taken him out a long time ago. It's too late to do it now. I agree with you. He should have done it 3 weeks ago.
All right. I hear you saying that.
You've got to set the example.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, you have to set the example 100%.
Yeah, let me finish. I hear what you're saying, but this is our last chance of silverware. We haven't won. All you guys have told me individually that the biggest thing for you guys is that you've seen us win the league, right? You want the I'm offering you the cut with the big ears, but this manager has to make a sacrifice in his captain. I'm offering you a way out. This is you ain't going to get this chance again. Because I tell you, Real Madrid are going to be strong next season. Other teams,
Man City will be better
enough in your plan, which is why I'm hesitant.
All right, you say, do you play your captain, knowing full well that you can't drop him? You're going to have. This is our only chance of silverware. Do you start him? I'm asking a question.
Based on his previous, mate, no chance.
Kenny, honestly, you might as well start with 10 men if you're going to start with him. Seriously.
But we've been doing that, DJB, every single game pretty much.
That's why we don't win it. That's why we ain't won nothing.
Then he needs to be dropped because if you disrespect Zinchenko all you like, but at the end of the day, that geezer turns up for Ukraine when he plays in midfield. He's their best player.
Yeah.
Or one of their best players. Right? He's also done it for Man City as well in big occasions, right? He's been there, right? This is a big, big, big game.
And he's got better short game passing.
And I'll tell you what it will do. When you see your captain dropped in a second leg of a semi-final, the rest of the team suddenly go, whoa, hang on a minute. We better, fucking hell, we better pull our socks up here. He's just dropped the captain. The captain's been benched.
He won't do it, DJ. The reason he won't drop his captain, and he won't do it. He might do it if he's got a little niggle.
He's limited.
But the reason, it's not limited options. We've got options. Ethan can play there. Saka can play there. Yeah, Zinchenko can play there. No, but listen, so not limited options then, are we? Because I've just named 3 players that can play there.
But Lee, you just did it.
We could play Trossard there, so there's 4 players that can play there.
He's not going to play them there.
He's not going to.
Can I speak?
Yes.
The reason he will not, I'm not saying, you just said limited options, which is why I gave you 4 options that can play there. I'm not saying he will play them there. The reason he will not drop that captain in that second leg, is because that's his fucking captain. Yeah, and that's now proving to the world he's fucked up. And he won't do it. He refuses to do it. That's why he played Ben White for 3 months when he needed surgery. That's why he's played other players when they need surgery. That's why he constantly flogs Saka to death, because that means, if I drop Saka and then Ethan comes into the team, and he does well, now we've got a conundrum, but I can't drop Saka, so I have to put Saka. Now, but now I've got to put him in. He has his favourites, bruv, the same as every manager, which is cool. However, if you have your favourites, mate, they better fucking deliver. And he ain't delivered, since he's been here. There's a reason he got binned at Madrid to Herenveen. There's a reason he got binned to Sociedad. Only place he's won a trophy. 12 full years as a professional at the highest level.
Sociedad. He was on loan.
I just said he got binned to Sociedad. I said binned to Sociedad. Listen to what I'm saying. He got sent out on loan everywhere. Herenveen in Holland, Sociedad. 12 full seasons as a professional at the highest level, and he has won 1 trophy. For his country, hold on, last thing I'm going to say. For his country, that guy has scored a whopping, I think, 3 goals in 63 games. Yeah. Gareth Bale and Aaron Ramsey had fucking Wales on their back, mate. Got them to a semi-final. So where's their captain? Where's their captain? Because he's got 3 goals. He's playing Kosovo, Kazakhstan, Gibraltar, Moldova, Liechtenstein. Yeah. For a week with the 6 of us here, pick 5 out the chat. We're going batter off all of them. Like, let's just be real with it. Where is he? This guy is a failed wonder kid, and the quicker people realise it, the better. However, he is now our captain because our manager's made him captain. So now, get rid of them fucking both then.
Yeah.
If you don't win that Champions League, get rid of both of them.
Yeah. And the only reason why we've got limited options is because the club hasn't done the right thing in the site with the money they've had to spend. That's why we've got
White says Odegaard is only good on Football Manager, not in real life.
Odegaard's having a poor season. I get it. I get his limitations.
So why aren't you calling him out like you do Phil Foden then?
Bro, I do call him out. I always see your post about Phil Foden. I've said Odegaard's our Phil Foden.
God, no, I'd have Foden over.
I've said Odegaard's our Phil
Foden. Even the shit version of Foden's better, isn't it?
When things are going well, he looks like an amazing player. When things are going bad, you can't depend on him.
So he's Mesut Ozil from Wish, is what you're saying.
You can't depend on him to be the main guy. The defensive work rate was not there. I've criticized him plenty. Now you guys have said enough.
So would you sell him? Let me ask you this then. Would you sell him in the summer?
It depends if we bring in enough quality to cover.
No. Forget that. Forget who we bring in.
I
Would you sell him
I
in the
personally
summer?
would not sell Martin Odegaard. No.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
So
neither
everything
guy.
you've just said is irrelevant and waffle then.
No. But 1 second, you could still criticize a player without wanting them sold. Like,
Yeah.
Bro, he's not good enough to get us over the line. He's proven it since he's been here.
I don't think Martin Odegaard is a bad player. Maybe he's a system player. Maybe he's not perfect at certain times in these big games. He doesn't have the same type of leadership as you guys would want in your leader. He's more of a guy who on the pitch will yell and scream a little bit, but doesn't.
That's not even about that, Agal. It's about
doesn't-
actually leading by example, mate.
Statistically, he's had a poor season when it
Forget
comes
statistically.
when it comes to his technique, when it comes to his passing range, when it comes to his control of the game, when it comes to his vision, he still has those. It's just he's not been up to the races this season. And I won't what do you call it? I won't lie to you guys and be like, oh, he's been amazing. No, he hasn't. We know that. But Martin Odegaard is still good enough for this team. Let's not act like he's a.
If you want to finish second
Let's not act
place,
like all of a sudden he's the reason why we're winning and losing. Guys, in that game, it's not even excuses. Our bench was a lot weaker than it would normally be.
Nobody cares. Barcelona didn't have their. No, Agal, stop this. Barcelona ain't got their first choice striker, their first choice goalkeeper, their first two choice DMs, their first choice left back, and they still put in free tonight.
Barcelona. We're playing PSG
No,
with a fully.
I'm saying we're not using excuses, bro. They're top of the league and they've lost all these players all season.
I'm not giving you excuses. I'm telling you for a fact some of the reasons why Mikel Arteta did what he did in that game versus PSG and wrote it out with players who were not necessarily playing their best is because he was limited with his options.
Fortini was on the bench. Zinchenko's on the bench. His signing. Yeah.
Bro,
his signing. Ethan's on the bench. Ethan's on the Zinchenko's an attacking option. Yeah, Tini's an attacking option because we've seen him play left wing this season.
Stop it, bro. You're not bringing on Kieran Tierney to replace Martinelli in a semi-final to try to get you a goal.
No, that's not what he's saying. He's playing play him at left back and move maybe Lewis-Skelly and midfield.
It's cool. It's cool. Don't worry. If we don't win it, he needs to go, mate.
I don't think you're gonna make that many. I don't think you're gonna make that many experiments and bold calls go in a semi-final. I understand a little bit why.
Yeah, but this is why he's not going to be an elite manager, bro. He's going to be a nearly man. Yeah, because he don't make the decisions that you go, wow, he fucking pulled that out of the bag today.
Lee, you shaved your beard. You look 10 years younger, man. So let's get on to.
Bro, that would mean I've only got 11 years without a title then instead of 21.
Let's get on to this though. The reality situation is the game was not won and lost in small margins. It wasn't a situation where. It
sounds like the manager, DJ. Small margins, guys.
It wasn't a situation.
They all sound like the manager.
It wasn't a situation where we got battered 2 or 3-0.
No, the scoreline. Come on, man. Let
me finish. The scoreline could have been. I get it. The scoreline could have been worse. It also could have been better. We could have scammed ourselves with Martinelli and Trossard. I'm not sitting here and saying it's the end of the world because now 1-0 going to Paris with Thomas Partey back in the 6. You're gonna have Declan Rice in the left 8. You're gonna have Mikel Merino up top. What's gonna change in the second leg is we're gonna have a lot more of a balanced team. That first 20 minutes we were not balanced. We did not have an understanding. And you can put it on the manager. You can put it on the change. You can say whatever you want if it's excuses or not. But I don't look at the options that we had on our bench and say to myself, there's a glaring mistake that Arteta made to start the game. Yeah, also, when you say Bukayo Saka, in my opinion, was not poor. Bukayo Saka, literally, they were doubling up on him. They were making sure they were sending as many bodies as possible to Bukayo Saka. And I think first half, going into halftime, he was still one of our most important players. The people who messed us up in that game, of course, we can talk about Martin Odegaard. It's really the poor finishing from the rest of the attack. And this is where we go back to the summer signings, the January signings, and the poor attacking options that we have to our disposal. It's safe to say Arsenal have the worst attack out of the 3 other teams remaining in the Champions League this season. You got Barcelona, who yes, they're braver. They do attack more, but they do also have better attacking options than us. You have PSG, who clearly have better attacking options than us. They have 4 better. They have 4 players that could rotate.
Why is that when he's at all this
and then you go to Inter. Inter have 2 strikers that walk into our team and we can't even sit here and try to act like our attack has not been our weakness. Now, no surprise, we lose the game 1-0, but it's not over. To say the tie is over at 1-0 to me is nuts. PSG away from one goal and the tie, we're back in the tie. Don't forget, PSG were losing 1-0 to Liverpool before they end up forcing overtime and getting it to penalties. Now, I don't want to go into penalties versus Donnarumma. I also I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. I was quite impressed with João Neves' performance because he put in one hell of a performance, and I think everyone speaks about all the PSG attackers. But João Neves single-handedly stopped Mikel Moreno from scoring, single-handedly stopped Bukayo Saka from even getting a shot off in the final third. And that's 2 clear goal-scoring opportunities there. Donnarumma and João Neves alone saved PSG from 4 clear-cut goal-scoring opportunities. We had chances. We just didn't have the execution. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and be like, hey, it was a great game. It wasn't. There was a lot of errors. But luckily, it only cost us 1 goal. And we go into the second leg with knowing exactly what we have to do. We have to be brave. We have to attack. We cannot sit and rest on our laurels, or else we're not going to PSG and winning anything if we don't go there brave, trying to attack and trying to win the game from the day dot.
No,
let me get the super chats in quickly, Ken, if that's all right.
Yeah, of course.
Sorry, man. Cliff says 5.5 years in, same excuses are being made for Mikel Arteta. T. Guna says, if the manager made changes around the 75-minute mark and we still lose, I can accept that. But no changes when PSG were making changes is a sackable offence. I agree to an extent. There was a graphic on the screen. I think PSG had made all of their changes at one point, 75 minutes in, and we hadn't even made one. And then we brought off Ben White.
Christian, Igal's got a point. I don't always agree with Igal, but one thing Igal said to him, he got there eventually, and his reputation preceded him. But we didn't have the option of bench. You're talking about bringing on players like Zia Emery, bringing on Ramos, bringing on players like Bacola, and that's the thing. But the situation is that one of the things I was trying to prompt Igal on about. I understand what you're saying, but we still have to play. It's still a football match we've got to play next week. Next week we got to. If it's 0-0 after half time, boo hoo. Who cares? Boo hoo. If it's 0-0 after 75 minutes, boo hoo. Anything can happen in football. Where we got to get at in that setting off is at 0-0, and then we have got something to build on. We've got to still build with legs. We go now and said, right, Saka and Martinelli, diagonal balls, go and attack. They're go and attack Hakimi, go and attack Mendes, and we all go together and we leave those gaps.
But the other side of the coin,
mate. So
if we don't do that, we'll be too slow. And if we're too slow, then we're not going to be able to break them down. And then it will be 0-0. And then we won't do anything and we won't create and we won't be able to score. And then we'll just lose 1-0 on the tie.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is just play normally. Chances will come. If you're saying that we could score chances come.
I don't think we can create enough. That's my worry.
We're going to get mullered. So
look, Miguel is talking as if we created really good chances. For me, we haven't been creating really good chances for months.
Even the Martinelli chance was offside, by the way.
So for me, it's not about we can have pragmatic.
The Trossard one was a big chance. Declan Rice blasted through midfield.
That was the best chance we had. That was the best chance we had. That's the only real chance we had. That's it. The Martinelli one would have been called offside by a toe. Yeah, by a millimetre, because I think he was offside. Maybe the camera angle's a bit. I don't know.
He was on, bro.
But okay, let's say he's on. That's 2 chances, bro. 2. Yeah, and not only that PSG starting 11 cost 450 million, by the way. Yeah, Declan Rice cost 1/4 of that. And by the way, Vitinha, we went to Porto. We went all the way to Porto and went, you know what? Yeah. We don't want that Portuguese lad, mate. You see him? You see that Portuguese lad? His name's Vieira. Oh, yeah, we'll have him. We had Vieira before. We'll have him. Do you know how much he cost more than Vieira? 5 million.
It was at Wolves as well, wasn't it?
5 million.
See, this comes down to the stem cause of the problem, doesn't it? We've heard about we haven't had the options on the bench. We've got limited choice when players are injured. Well, it comes down to the manager and the football club, because
And all the injured. Sorry, DJ.
He's
So
had
very
the
quickly,
money.
DJ. Very quickly.
He's
Sorry,
had
I
the
don't want to cut
money,
you off,
and
but
let's
real
spend it
quick,
right.
yeah. All the players that we have out injured, yeah. None of these fucking players, none of these fans want them anyway. Jesus,
No,
yeah,
don't want him.
right. 29. Half the fan base don't want him.
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
okay
let's
to
be
give
real.
him
Because now flavour of the month's Mikel Marino. So like, and nobody was calling for Jesus to start games. Let's be real with it. Yeah, Tommy Yasu. Everyone's forgotten about him. Yeah. So let's not pretend like all these players. Yeah, Gabriel, cool. Yeah, Gabby obviously is our best defender. Yeah, but let's not pretend. Yeah, and Calafiori is a liability anyway. That guy can't defend. Yeah, so let's not pretend like Calafiori would have started anyway. Let's not pretend like Jesus starts. Yeah, they sat on the bench, so the names on the bench look sexier. They're still not going to play.
What are
mate.
you talking about? You're a hypocrite.
This is what I'm trying to say.
DJB.
The root, hang on a minute. The root cause of the problem is that the club has not done the right thing in the areas we needed to do. If this club is going to win, if this club is going to win premierships and Champions League, the signings under this manager has not been good enough. Pure and simple. Fabio Vieira, not good enough. Paid too much money for him. The list will go on and on and on and on and on. And what have we got to do now in the summer? We've got to get rid of players. We've got to bring 5-6 players in and start all over again. And this is
what I'm hearing.
And we've got to start all over again when this manager has had a process and millions of pounds spent on it.
DJ, just
you know what I'm hearing?
I'm
hearing. DJ, quick question for you then: is it the manager that's the problem, or is it the recruitment?
They're blaming the
managers. I think the managers had I understand
they're blaming the recruitment,
I think the manager has had a lot to do with the recruitment. They're his signings. They are his signings.
Thank you.
He has the final say. His words.
Yeah, but he's still
his words.
He doesn't force the club to sign Isaac. He doesn't force the club to sign Ollie Watkins in the summer.
No, do you know why? Because he's comfortable winging it on 15 million a year, mate.
You guys pick and choose your arguments, and
the argument is 5 years without a trophy, mate.
Well, you're right that we need you're right that we need better, but in the same breath, you're saying we need better squad depth, we need better players. But then when the manager's saying, you know what, yeah, I agree with you guys. That's why I don't trust certain players. You're getting mad. It's kind of crazy.
Who chose the players, Egal? Yes or no question. Did Mikel Arteta choose to sign Calafiori over signing a striker or a right winger when we knew we needed to sign him? Did Mikel Arteta choose to sign Havertz for 65 million when we needed to blah, blah, blah? Did Mikel Arteta was the one who told Sesko, I can't guarantee you game time over Havertz? Wasn't Mikel Arteta also the one that said, oh, I'm going to spend 100 million on getting more left backs because I need to shore that up and I need a backup keeper and I need another defender? Mikel Arteta is the one who's choosing all the players that he wants to sign, and he's choosing all the players he wants to get rid of. I cannot believe that Arsenal fans do not think that Arteta is the one who is choosing these players. That is absolute crap. He's a dictator in this club. He chooses who he wants. He chooses who goes out. If you do not follow his rules, it's over. Aubameyang.
So Arteta chose not to bring in. Arteta chose not to bring in an attacker in the January window. No, he did not.
100%.
No, he did not.
He never had the money to bring in an attacker.
No, he did not. Bro, he did not choose to not bring in anybody.
Is that he could have bought a fucking proper striker with the 80 million he wasted on Calafiori and Mikel Marino? He could have bought Jokeris buyout clause.
Honestly, that type of excuse, I cannot. I don't.
He could have got Isak when he gave Eddie Nketiah $100,000 a week and another contract.
Exactly. and DJB, Kenny Ken was talking about how all of these players are fringe players, but Arteta was
you guys know he got. You know the club told him. You guys know the club told him Isak wasn't worth what he was worth in January.
Who told you that?
He was then, was he?
Who told you that? David Ornstein.
Hang on.
Who told you that? David Ornstein.
Isak wasn't worth it, but
the Athletic. David Ornstein. Thank you.
No, but that's fine, Egal. Even if we made a mistake on Isak,
David Ornstein told us we kept good relations for Caicedo and then brought Rice instead.
All right. So you guys are all sitting here. You guys all sitting here saying it's over, 1-0 down. We're not going to compare.
None of us have said that. We've said we don't think we're going for details. I'm saying we should. If we didn't win that first leg, I think we're out. I think doesn't mean it's not going to happen. We can go through. Yeah. However, I don't think we will get through. The same as I didn't think we'd beat Real Madrid. Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not in charge of what happens on the fucking pitch.
Neither am I.
No, and that's my point. Yeah, so you're sitting here having a go at us, yeah, because we're spitting with facts. The manager has the final say on transfers. He has the final say on team selection, the final say on who leaves this football club. Any player he's wanted out of this football club, including Mesut Ozil, including Aubameyang, including Pepe, so on and so forth, have gone, mate. They've gone. Guendouzi's another one.
I don't agree with everything that Lee Gunner says, but this, I can't say a word because he's absolutely right. And
No, you were spitting facts, bro. You were spitting.
Yeah, bro. The fact that people say that Arteta isn't the one who chooses all this, like,
I don't hold Arteta accountable to every signing.
No, you don't hold him accountable for anything. Hence 5 years with nothing.
There's certain decisions that are above his head, which we hold him accountable for. Every single piece of the recruitment is not down to Arteta. Every single signing and player that comes into this club is not solely down to Arteta. There is a pecking order, and they do have people ahead of him who tell him, you know what, we don't have the money to get these deals done, or we're not going to get this financially. We don't.
Okay, so on that premise, then let's assume that is the case, and that probably is the case. Yeah, we haven't got the finances because obviously he'll know the budget. Yeah, he'll sit down at the end of last season. He'll go, right, what's the budget? Yeah, they'll all have their meeting. We've seen it on All for Nothing when Vinay was making Edu a coffee. Yeah, now he's left. He's gone Spurs. Yeah, well done. Right, but they're all sitting there. They know the budget. They've got the lawyers sat there. They've got the financial guys. They've got all the hierarchy. Josh will be sat there. And obviously, Stan don't know what day it is. Blah, blah, blah. They'll all be sat there, yeah? Now he knows the budget's 80 million quid. Yeah, because that's what he's spent. Yeah, I know we're not spending that out in one go. The budget is this, Mikel. We need to balance the books a little bit. PSR were a little bit close to it, according to the Athletic, your mate, Ornstein. Right? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Cool. So, yeah, okay, well, Isak's a little bit off the radar then. Yeah, Gyökeres, well, we could do that, but that might leave us short in other areas if we blow all of our load on that. So why don't you go and buy, a striker that's cheaper then? Why don't you go and buy a striker that is cheaper? You don't have to go and do 80 million.
Someone leave.
Thank you.
Imagine
Why don't you go and say Ivan Toney, who, by the way, is in their version of the Champions League final and scored in his semi-final yesterday, by the way. Firmino also scored. Mahrez, baller. Yeah. All three of them we could have had. The Galeno also went from Porto, I think it was, for 50 million euro in January. Their front four is better than ours. Yeah, and they're in the final. And they're going to win that final. Yeah, Ronaldo's team got dunked on today. Bye-bye. And the team they beat to get to that final, by the way, my Saudi generals, yeah, was the best team in fucking Saudi. The Real Madrid of Saudi. They beat them in their own backyard, battered them. Yeah. So guess what? We could have got Ivan Toney for 40 million. Yeah, we could have gone and got Mahrez for 30 million. Yeah, we could have gone and got Galeno for 40 million. Yeah, we could have got Firmino for fuck all. Why don't we go and get him? False nine, yeah, with our wingers. He did it with Mane and Salah. Couldn't bring him off the bench,
we could have gone Osimhen before he went to Turkey because he wasn't even that much. We could have gone Vlahovic. We could have gone Gyökeres when nobody was in for him last summer. There was a lot of options. A lot.
Could have got Elise for 45 million.
There isn't options. Or the market was flat. Like, come on.
There were so many players out there last summer, and all I kept hearing from people like Agal and people like AFTV, oh yeah, well the striker market's dead. No, it's not. No, it's not, because now look how many strikers you lot are gassing up. Gassing up striker left. Oh, we need a striker. Well, hang on. When I was offering strikers up, yeah, I was getting told, nah, he's rubbish. He's rubbish. Ivan Toney was round the corner. That was the most obvious deal in the world, mate. 40 minutes. Hey, he's got an attitude problem. Oh, do you know that, do you? Because one of my pals, his best mates, and went to school with him, mate. He ain't got an attitude problem. He's loving life in Saudi. He ain't had no problem with their manager. Which, by the way, their manager did a double at Salzburg in his first full season. He had them retain the title the second season. Now, yeah, he's in the Champions League final. Yeah, in his second full season. Yeah, yeah. Come on, what are we doing here? Yeah, it don't take time. Proof again. Andy's younger than Super Duper Mick. Andy's got nice drip. Is he the best looking German we know? Conte has got Billing. Yeah, you know Billing that was at Bournemouth. He's got Billing as one of his forwards. He's got Lukaku. Well, we could have got him. He was round the corner. Yeah, he scores goals. Yeah. They've got Scott McTominay on double digits this season and Billy Gilmore. He's top of the league by 3 points. What phase is he in? Yeah, they finished 8th last season.
Phase 5.
This guy.
Lads, let me read these.
They won the league 2 years ago.
I'm doing the Dan Potts roll tonight. I got to fit these in at some point.
They won the league.
You're doing all right, mate. You're doing all right.
Yeah, you're doing all right. You're a good host, mate.
I think I was here. Vanter White says buying players is useless with a manager like this. The Cuddle for Life says if Arteta has balls, he will take captaincy off of Hairflick for the away leg or at least drop him. Brooklyn Guna says if it's a game-winning penalty and Odegaard has to take it, are you confident he will score? I'm not. We saw it against United.
Pillow foot. Just get Rice on it. Slap it 100 mile an hour.
Worst captain, big up Lee, talking facts. AK4P says, talk about Odegaard now, Egal. Keep Foden's name out your mouth and you deserve this loss against PSG. Hold that. Chris says, small margins, go Specsavers, check your minces.
If I'm not mistaken, we lost by one. If I'm not mistaken, we lost by 1 goal. And everyone's acting like we didn't have chances. Cook,
Egal.
No, I think
Jason McNeil says being Q Egal is curtains.
Hey, that's what that tifo was. That was a curtain, wasn't it? A shower curtain.
Mikel can't handle personalities. He wants control.
Can I address something towards Egal? I think Egal, it's not that we are thinking that we're out of the tie. Of course, we're not out of the tie. I think for me personally, I'll speak for myself. My frustration is that I knew this was how this was going to pan out. Since February 3rd, when we didn't sign someone, we already knew how this was going to pan out. It started panning out. It started going to shit. We already knew Saka was going to be rushed back because the season was absolutely going to be an embarrassment if we didn't beat Madrid. So I already knew Saka was going to come back, and I won't be surprised if we make the final if Havertz somehow finds his way into this team. So I think the frustration for me is that we've known these mistakes. We've been covering it up. We've known we can't create. We know we play this horseshoe type football. We don't play through and direct. And the problem is the bench is weak. Arteta's doing miracles, but we are the cause of all our own mistakes. And for me personally, I don't think Arteta is leaving this summer. And I see all his weaknesses and I see all the mistakes, but I also see a lot of good things that he's done for the club because as the Arsenal fan, I haven't competed like this at the top for this many years, this consistently. And that's from my perspective. The gentlemen on the panel are a bit older, so they've seen Arsenal before. For me, this has been enjoyable. So I give props to Arteta. It's not like Arteta has done a lot of things wrong, but I don't believe that as Arsenal fans, we cannot look at the coach and say, hey, you've done great. I love you for it, but you've also made mistakes and you need to improve on those mistakes because if you don't, we are not going to move as a club. So there's two sides to it.
You're absolutely spot on there. See, I said this to a gal the other day. Me, Kenny, and DJ. Yeah, I don't know how old Christian Gal are, so maybe you did see it. Yeah, maybe you are that age. We've seen us beat Real Madrid before, and probably you have as well, African Goonie. But we've seen us beat Real Madrid. We've seen us get to a Champions League final. Yeah, Kenny, you were there.
So was I.
Yeah, so was DJ. You were at the final. Yeah, we've seen us get Champions League semi. Yeah, this is our 3rd Champions League semi. Yeah, we've seen us get past Villarreal and get to the final. We've seen us get absolutely walloped by Rooney, Ronaldo and Tevez. Yeah, and now we're in 1 now and we're 1-0 down. We've seen us finish second 3 times in a row under Wenger. We've seen us win major honours. This ain't new to us. We've seen better players than we have now. You guys, Kenny and DJ, you're a little bit older, yeah? You've seen us get to 4 finals on the spin with Terry Neal and the manager got potted. 4 finals. This manager's got to 1. Yeah, we'd have soon got him out because they were all marching down the road to get him out, down the town hall, if I remember rightly quoting Jezza. Yeah, and they all got him out. And now it's a whole new concept. And listen, you can't help when you're born, yeah? Right? But at the same time, I just feel like, this is the best version of Arsenal some people have seen. Yeah, but we ain't fucking won nothing. The aim of the game, we all laugh at Tottenham because they don't win nothing. You better hope and pray, yeah, right, that they don't win that Europa League if we don't win this Champions League. Yeah, and what will happen is if they do win that Europa League, they're now in a fucking Super Cup final. Yeah, they'll probably get banged in that. They'll probably get banged in the final anyway, if they get to the final. My point is if they win that Europa League and we don't win this Champions League, how are you spinning that? How are you spinning that? But look where they finished in the league. Nobody cares. We've seen us finish 10th and win 2 cups in the same season. Nobody cared about 10th. Nobody cares. Did you win trophies? Man United win it. That's 3 in a row, mate. 3 years in a row. They're 15th. Nobody cares. They're now back in the Champions League and they've got a cup to show for it. Yeah?
Spurs are not winning the Europa.
Well, you want to hope they don't, mate.
They don't. Let's also be honest.
They're just not solid enough. They're just not solid enough to win it. And same way how people would say they don't rate Arsenal. I just don't think Spurs are going to win it.
But you want to hope they don't.
As for some of the stuff that you guys have said, I don't think Martin Odegaard's going to get dropped in the next game, and I don't think it's going. I don't think he has the options to go and say, you know what, let's drop our captain going into one of the biggest games in our recent years. Number one. Number two, I don't think Arteta's getting sacked in any way or form off the back of us losing to PSG in the second leg, or even if we get to a final and we don't win. Regardless what happens, Arteta's going to see out another year, and they're going to give him an opportunity to go and sort out the attack. That is just going to happen. Number three, when it comes to a lot of the issues you guys are speaking about, if I'm not mistaken, Christian, African Gooner, you guys can probably agree with me here also. Some of the issues are down to recruitment and not down to Arteta solely alone. This season, let's be honest, we have I'm not making excuses for injuries or anything like that, but going into a semi-final against a team that's relatively fully fit, or they have no major injuries at all, compared to Arsenal, who have several key players out, and even players you guys don't rate that come off the bench, makes a difference. Kai Havertz in as an attacking option off the bench in this game would have made a difference. Partey, if he didn't get the yellow card, would have made a massive difference. Even go as far as to say Jesus coming off the bench and giving us another option would have made a difference. Mikel Arteta, I don't think he sits on his hands for 83 minutes if he has some of those better attacking options available in this game. And if you want to say, you know what, he still had options, he could have done other things, I agree. He could have done other things, but unfortunately he deemed it that it wasn't the right decision at the time, and you know what, he's going to suffer from that. Now, we did lose, and we lost by 1 goal, so it is small margins. Everyone who's saying we got battered, we got bodied, yeah, for 20 minutes, and then we kind of recovered from there. And I think going into the game versus PSG at their ground, it's still wide open. The way that we find ourselves in, the way that we resolve some of the issues that we had in the previous game is, one, Thomas Partey is going to be in the 6. He's going to be able he's going to be able to spread the ball around a lot easier than Declan Rice in the 6. Also, we're going to have Declan Rice in the 8, which is going to give us another body who can defend in that final third, so we don't have similar defensive lapses like we did when Ousmane Dembele scored. Because I'm looking at Moreno and I'm looking at Odegaard, saying, where were they tracking the runners when Dembele scored his goal? Because that was really down to them not being in the right position. And I don't think Declan Rice is doing anything wrong by helping out Timber in that situation 1v1 versus Kvaratskhelia.
You always love deflecting.
I'm not deflecting. I'm speaking about the actual game instead of speaking about agenda.
No. Well, it's not an agenda, is it? Yeah, my agenda is that Arsenal need to win trophies, mate. That's the aim of the game. The game ain't changed. Yeah, right. I heard you, DJ. Yeah, and Kenny on with Jez earlier. I couldn't make it, sadly. Yeah, I didn't get back until right before kickoff for the game. Right, and I heard you say, DJ, the game, because you were talking about Chapman era and the 40s and all of that back. Yeah, the fundamentals. Say exactly what you said. Sorry.
No, go on, Lee. No, I was going to say.
No, you say it, because you'll say it better than me.
No, the fundamental side of the game has not changed. You know, it's like the ball's in there. You got to get the ball in the other goal, and that's it. The fundamentals hasn't changed throughout the years. It's just the style of play's changed, but the actual object of the game of football has stayed the same for centuries. And this is what I mean. It's not rocket science to work things out in game management.
Exactly.
When Arsenal were winning unlimited titles in the 30s, and then we won the double in 71, and then we went on, and then we're winning Invincibles and 04 and all this. It's not changed. It's just what you do with your players, and you get the best out of your players. And this manager seems to fail on every single time he's in a big situation.
Yeah. Lads, let's talk about that. Let's talk about our second properly.
I don't get how fans can outcast a manager like Wenger, who brought the best times to this football club and won, trophies and Invincibles and
doubles,
players.
Old Trafford, Spurs.
Old Trafford and stuff like that. This guy won all of that, and everyone wanted him out the club. This guy in 5 years has done practically nothing. And by the way, he won the FA Cup with not his team. None of them players were his team, right?
So proof again, it didn't take time.
Right? And suddenly, He gets excuse after excuse after excuse. He gets protected. Now they're blaming the fans, so that's taken the gloss away from the manager's performance. The fans weren't. The fans were disappointing. So Arteta's got another get out of jail card because the fans are getting blamed. Yeah, I mean, what are we doing here, guys? I mean, come on. How long can this go on for? I'm sick of it.
DJ, let's talk about this second leg, because in my opinion, if you were to put this on paper, or if you were to look at the facts and the numbers, everything points to us getting knocked out, right? What we were saying earlier about they knocked out Liverpool. They were better over 2 legs by far. Liverpool were better than us. So if they knock them out, they're probably going to knock us out. But
where is he?
Right, he's had a stinker and hooked.
Oh,
Right. So there we go. There we go. African Goon, you're the host now then. Yeah, come on. Wait, that's what should happen to our captain, by the way. Our captain got kicked out, bruv. Ponzi, I don't know. Ponzi's listening somewhere and he kicked him out.
Yeah, what are you doing, Chris?
I don't know what.
You was on about. You was gonna say about what chances do we have in the second leg, weren't you?
That was funny. I thought I messed up the whole stream there. But sorry, looking at PSG's results, they did concede 3 goals against Villa, which I don't think we can overlook. They looked vulnerable in that second leg. Could have conceded 4. Asensio had a 1-on-1.
Tillerman's header as well. The goalkeeper made a mad save off that Tillerman's header. They could have bottled that.
Konza also had a chance where he missed the header. You know, they were definitely rattled. They definitely can get.
But do you think? Sorry to cut. Do you think that's because they were 5-1 up over the 2 legs? They just got complacent.
Possibly, but maybe they'll get.
And this is probably the best thing. This is probably the best thing for them. I spoke to Mohammed, PSG fan, last night, and he said this is probably the best result they could have had. Yeah, because now they have to be on it. If they had gone 2 or 3-0 up, they'd get a bit complacent again. Yeah, and they concede 38% of their goals this season from set pieces. And we didn't even touch them on set pieces.
They also lost 3-1 at home last week to Nice. Look, I know their league is done, so you can say the pressure's off, but they still played a full team in preparation for a Champions League semi-final and conceded 3 goals at home. So I'm just trying to look at little things here where you can get some confidence.
Well, get some confidence, Christian. We beat Real Madrid 5-1, and the only goal they scored is that we let them score. We gave them a free goal.
Forget the Real Madrid game, my friend. It's gone. It's finished. It was a game of football. Forget it.
We all know that we can beat any team on the given day. It's all about if we show up. That's all. We know that we can beat PSG next week. It's if we come with the right energy and if the game plan doesn't work, Arteta needs to change the game plan in the game. That is all
That's the problem. This is our problem. We've been talking about it on the stream. He doesn't change the game plan. See, the thing is,
we don't have a chance.
Look. I mean, we're only 1-0 down, and if you're 1-0 down going into a second leg, of course, any team's got a chance. But from what I've seen of this PSG game, and I think I was one of the ones that actually wasn't that confident going into the PSG game last night. From what I see of this PSG game team, they just get better. They just get better and better and better. And they've got so many options. And the way they move the ball around, the way they press, the way they pass, the way they go from defence into attack, the way they get into attack, break the lines. Honestly, and they're going to be they're 1-0 up. And and eventually, and I do agree with Kenny Ken, we can't all go gung-ho, otherwise we can find ourselves getting picked off. But the longer the game's on, the longer the game goes on, we've got to come out eventually and start taking chances. And that is where they're going to be dangerous. I think they're going to take the 1-0 lead. I think they're going to score. And I think we'll be 2 down. And I think we'll need to score 3. That's my own opinion. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. And I'll be the first to come here and hold my hands up and give them full of praise and say, well done. You know, because I really...
How are you feeling? Well, man, you think we can do it? We've got a chance?
Look, we're all Arsenal fans. We all hate that team from down the road when you get 259. But one thing,
2 fines.
I'm turning the thing off. Yeah, I'm going to put it on silent. Hold on, let me put this on silent.
Yeah, Roy Keane wouldn't be having that, mate, when he was manager at Sunderland.
One thing, I know, and the thing about it, look what happened in 2019. Spurs lost their first leg at home to Ajax. And they managed to deal with adversity. I mean, first and foremost, they went 2-0 down, and they still oh bloody hell, let's turn this. Let's just silent. Let's just silent. It's
A loud thing as well. It's like it's turned up to the max. It's not even like
no, I put it on silent.
That's the missus saying, "Hurry up, Kenny."
So I put it on silent. So basically, Spurs were 2-0 down, went to 1-3-2. We got the players to do it.
Put yourself on do not disturb. I think that'll do it.
Kenny, man, what happened to the side?
Anyway, let me carry on before I better get before that before I have to put myself on mute. Basically, how we do it is that we basically go there compact. We play Thomas Partey in another six, get Declan Rice forward. But what we can't do is go gun ho. We have to. If the space is there, then we've got to take the space. If we go looking for the space and try to take the game to PSG, we're capable of doing that. But let's not forget, our passing isn't been at our best in the last month. And if we do lose possession, then what will happen is that's where PSG are going to be their strongest. So if we go in half time 0-0, that's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. One thing we've got in our favour as well, we've got Thomas Partey playing. That means we've got an option of having Trossard on the bench. At least, maybe after an hour, maybe 70 minutes, still 0-0. That's a player you can come and change something. That's the only thing I can offer you guys, because all I can offer you now is stay in the game at 0-0, and then maybe one of our set pieces, maybe Della can do something, maybe Trossard can come on the bench, maybe Saka can do something. But staying in the game with after 60 minutes is our best option of trying to get something, because PSG they are gonna tire like they did yesterday, and then that's when we can pounce. If we try going gun ho, I'll be stunned. I'll be stunned if we don't come away with a thrashing. But if we play, defend properly, don't give anything away, and then measure our attacks, there's a chance, but it's a thin chance. PSG are the favourites. They should be able to see it through, my opinion.
Lee, talk to me, man. You said yesterday that we were going to batter them. Obviously, it didn't turn out that way.
Well, I never officially said batter. I said I think we'll do them 2-0. I actually predicted 2-1.
Then shit, and that we would beat them. Do you think?
No. Hold up. Wait a minute. Disclaimer, guys. Disclaimer.
You said we were going.
That was the first time we played them.
You said we were going to the final.
The first time we played them, I said they're shit. We're going to hammer them. Yeah, and they were shit, and we hammered them. Yeah. Yesterday, I did a preview on PSG INT's channel. Bless up Mohammed every time. Yeah, and I predicted 2-1. Yeah, I predicted 2-1 to Arsenal. I said if we don't win the game, I think we're out. Yeah. Then when I went on live on my watch along, I was like, do you know what? I've changed my opinion. I think we're doing, because I see the starting 11s by then. I was like, not really happy with Marino in midfield, but Trossard's been all right recently. Martinelli, obviously Saka. Yeah, okay, cool. I'll go 2-0. And inside 3 minutes, Ousmane Dembele's shushing the crowd, and they fully obliged because they shushed for the rest of it.
Let me read your tweet out. You tweeted this yesterday. You said, I'm not worried about PSG. We win tonight. They're crap on set pieces also. No drama. We make the final.
Yeah, that's not me saying they're shit, is it, though?
All right, so going into that second
I'm saying there's no. Hold on. Don't dismiss that. Come on. Don't misquote
That's your tweet. That's your tweet.
I said they're shit on set pieces, which they are. Look how many goals they've conceded in all comps this season. 38% of their goals this season. I got that directly off the PSG fan. Yeah, 38% of their goals this season in all competitions have come off of set pieces. So that's why I put the tweet out. I'm not worried about PSG, which I wasn't, because I think if we beat them at home, we're through. And I thought we'd beat them at home. Yeah, but they're shit on set pieces. I never said they're shit, because they're a totally different team to the one we played. When we played them first time round in the group stage, I think it was match day 2 or 3. I think it was match day 2. Yeah, I was full of shit. I was like, yo, they're shit. We're going to hammer them. Yeah, this time round, I was like, no. But then when I did the preview with my man, he was like, yo, 38% of our goals come from set pieces. I'm thinking, yo, give us a corner. Yeah, just give us a free kick. And you know, it's the first time that our captain didn't take a free kick, we scored from it and it was offside.
True.
Yeah, get that geezer well away from set plays. But anyway, going into the second leg.
He can't be the first man when he's crossing. It's terrible.
Well, he's had a baby, innit?
Well,
I put a disclaimer on that one, but I knew it was going to come back and bite me.
Second leg, yeah, I'm with Kenny. We don't have to go gung-ho. All we got to do is just defend properly, yeah, and all do our jobs. Yeah, that game could go until the 89th minute at 0-0, and then we go and nick a goal. It's extra time. Yeah, now is where we go from there. I don't think that will be the case. I think if they score, and that'll be their aim, yeah, just get a goal. Yeah, but I think Dembele's going to be out injured. I think he's done a hamstring. So I don't know whether that was a precaution or, but he looked effed. I can't lie. I don't know whether they took him off precaution, but I mean, if you look at their bench, yeah, I don't really rate that Bradley Barcola, but they got Ramos who came off the bench. They got Barcola coming off the bench. We're looking at Sterling, yeah, and three fullbacks, yeah, and then a bunch of kids that don't ever get any game time, and then Ethan, yeah, Timber. I don't know what's happened to him. I haven't seen anything about Timber today. I don't know if you guys can enlighten me. Hopefully, he's okay.
I think he's okay.
But at the same time, this is the biggest game this manager's ever managed, other than an FA Cup final. And the FA Cup final, he had zero pressure on him. Yeah, because he just joined the club. So it didn't really matter. That's another fine. Kenny, you've lost your whole week's wages at this point, mate. Yeah. But he had no pressure on him at all because he just joined the club. When he won that FA Cup, he played three at the back. Yeah, he played three at the back. Yeah, we beat Man City, we beat Chelsea, but he beat the rookie manager in the final, but he beat the master before that. Yeah, but again, there was no pressure. When we've come to pressure, well, we've seen he lost to Villarreal, Olympiacos, yeah, Sporting Lisbon, yeah, Bayern Munich, Aston Villa, Man City, so on and so forth. When it really matters, this manager don't get over the line. Yeah, I'm hoping that we get through. Yeah, and if we get to the final, what I've seen tonight and what I've seen all season from Barca and Inter, yeah, we're in big trouble. However, it's a final.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. Flip a coin. Yeah, we can skank our way through it. There could be a dodgy penalty. Anything could happen. We have to get there, mate. If we get there, cool. Yeah. Am I confident? No. I'd say I've probably rated 20% that we get through. Yeah, but at the same time, we can get through. But now it's down to this manager to earn his 15 million. Yeah, and if he does, and our captain scores the winner to get us through, then cool. I'll forget everything you've done if we end up winning it. Yeah, if we don't end up winning it, that goal's irrelevant, like all of Harry Kane's until this season. Yeah, but I hope we go through. Listen, bro, I said this on the stream yesterday, yeah? If we win it, I'm buying a full fucking sized Champions League replica. Yeah, I'm going to buy a full-size one. Yeah, but I don't think we're going to get there. I thought we would before that first leg. After seeing that first leg, yeah, as soon as Partey's back in there, they'll just go down the wing. They ain't playing through midfield so often.
No. With Partey there, though, we should be playing better. And,
a bit better. Yeah.
I'll give it up to you guys. A lot of the stuff about Martin Odegaard, you guys have been saying this season, fair play. He has been extremely poor and he's not stepping up. But this team still has the capability to go and win. We have shown we can go and get results versus teams that people don't expect us to get anything from. I think the team shows up a lot of times when we're expected to win is when the team somewhat doesn't show up, and when nobody expects us to do anything is when we somehow turn up. So I do have faith in these guys. They do have the capability to go to PSG away and
it's now pressure again.
At least get a 1-goal lead. That is not. It's not the end of the world. It's not a 2-goal deficit. It's not a 3-goal deficit. The attacking issues has been an issue all season. But one thing we do know is Paris Saint-Germain. They're going to give us opportunities. They're not as disciplined defensively as an Inter Milan.
Yeah.
Right. And today's performance versus Inter and Barcelona, it does not make you any more confident if we do get to the final. Right? It doesn't make you any more confident if you do get to a final, but we just need to get to the dance. Because if we can get to the dance, we can win it. We always at this moment in time.
You're never the bride, though, bro. You're the bridesmaid.
At this moment in time, I'm just saying, whether the storm, no injuries versus whoever we're playing midweek, rotate the hell out of the team. This is the one time where you do not even try to play any of your main starters. Declan Rice, Saliba, Saka, none of them should.
Goalkeeper, would you play him?
even the goalkeeper, whatever the hell you want to do, just make sure you make as many rotations as possible midweek in the champion, so we can focus on the next game in the Champions League. Who do we play? We play in the league. Bournemouth. Bro, play a team out there that's going to be like similar to what we would do in a league.
Yeah, put our captain out there for punishment. How about that?
I agree with Kenny. We should bench him to send a message and then hope that it inspires some reaction on Wednesday.
Play him at the weekend. Play our captain at the weekend out of punishment.
I don't think a one-goal deficit is that
also. But then if his form is poor, it's not going to change anything. He's still going to be.
No, but punishment's a punishment. So if we play a load of kids in the reserve team and play our captain, punishment, isn't it?
For him. Yeah,
and if he goes and has a hat trick, maybe then we can think, actually, maybe he's in form now. Yeah,
could be.
Iga, you put something out this morning. You reposted a quote from Thierry Henry. Said there is a return leg. I'm relaxed.
Yeah, it's not over. It's not over.
You can do it.
I think we can do it, and I think a lot of people need to understand that it's only 1 goal margin. Crazier things have happened.
Fine margins, guys.
No, but it's only literally 1 goal. It's not. We go into that game versus PSG. We get an equalizer in the first 45 minutes. We can see it. We could either see it out and potentially nick a win, or it could go to penalty shootouts. But I don't want it to go to penalty shootouts. I want us to win. I want us to win in regular time or extra time latest. We do not want to go into penalties versus Donnarumma. He's a specialist at things. Penalties. So PSG probably have 60% odds of winning. We have 40% odds of winning. But we just need to get that opening goal. Arsenal get the opening goal. The floodgates can open. And I do see us. We have what it takes to go there and get a 2-0 victory.
I think it's going to be similar to the Bayern Munich second leg.
Yes,
I think it's got a lot of. I think it's going to be a very similar game to when we played Bayern Munich in the second leg at the Allianz last season.
You think they score first and they bury the tie? That's what you're saying?
That's how I think it's going to pan out. I think they're going to pan out. That's how I think it's going to pan out. I think we're going to get caught. I don't think we're going to be brave enough. And I think they're going to. I think PSG are going to seize their opportunity. You got to remember, this is a massive club that's never won the Champions League as well.
With a sick manager that's won everything.
With a manager that's been. So I think. Listen, I hope I'm completely wrong, obviously, but I'm only talking as football now. So I've took my Arsenal head off and I'm looking at football, unbiased. And
he'll be sitting in that dressing room, that manager, after that game, and he'll be telling them on the way back on their flight, on the Eurostar, we just need to score first, mate, and they're fucked. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I look at both sides. I'm a massive Arsenal fan.
Also, the same thing applies to us.
I look at the football side of things, and I just think that was a massive opportunity yesterday to really ram home that tie. And now I think PSG probably would have thought, if we come out of here with a draw or losing 1-0, we're happy with that. But the fact that they've come out winning has really changed their mood. And I think I think we could get. I think it's going to be similar to the Bayern Munich game of what we saw.
And I think people don't underestimate the like this is like all these stats that we see, right, of XG and all of this and that, right. People don't apply the concept of pressure to situations. They're going clean through on goal in a Champions League semi-final like Trossard did. There's completely different going clean through in a dead rubber against Crystal Palace or Bournemouth. Because there's no pressure on it. We see this last season in the Champions League final, guys. Dortmund had 4 1-on-1s in the first half. They missed them all. But then they go and play Hoffenheim or someone. They'll probably score 3 of them. Because pressure, is not a privilege to Arsenal. It's not people buckle under pressure. Like I said earlier, that boy who plays for Barca tonight, he thrived under that. But if you could see, and he was gutted when he was gutted when he was.
The only thing I would say about watching Barca. Thank you. The only thing I'd say about watching Barca, and take nothing away from them, they're a fantastic side with brilliant individuals and great young player and a brilliant manager. The only thing I would say with Barca is defensively, it's a bit sort of Keystone Cops. Defensively, they are literally all over the place.
They're good though, DJ. They're good. They're good though. They are
honestly,
good.
They are literally. They have honestly. I've seen I've seen school football defend better. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking
The high line tonight was a little bit
Christ,
wild.
man, where are these?
Yeah, but they
defenders?
never get caught out though. Like rarely. I've watched them all season. Yeah, they very rarely get. I think they've only conceded 6 goals more than Bilbao, who've got the best defense in the league.
This is what I can't. Yeah, this is what I don't understand. But when you look
Because
at
it's fucking. It's like us with Tony Adams and all them, man. Yeah, we put our hand up for offside. Yeah, back then there was no VAR in it. Yeah, after them goals,
we
fucking
backstage,
count.
Christian.
You
Yeah,
guys-
we turned backstage,
guys-
Christian.
you guys
wouldn't we?
know
I
what's
can't-
crazy today?
Their defending is like, wow, what's going on here?
You
They
know
were
what
missing
yeah.
players tonight, though. That's not how they look every week. Balde, their left back, was missing. Araujo was missing. Kunde went off injured.
Yeah.
The goalkeeper's out, so
It's not their defense.
4 in their
Let
back
me ask
5
you guys
are
a
out.
question. How crazy is it today? It was basically Yamal versus Dumfries.
It was.
Yeah, and both fucking turned up. Dumfries got
What's
man of the match, and Yamal should
What
have got
player
man.
that Yamal was? I mean, did you see it when he
Right.
dribbled and he sort of dragged the? I mean, the audacity.
He nutmegged the geezer and then fucking did a little Zidane. Yeah, little Zidane turn. I was just like, no, this guy's taking a piss. Yeah, and then he did the Travella and Dumfries cleared it. Yeah, if that had gone through his legs, yeah, the side was clean through.
Dumfries, unbelievable. But Arsenal, guys,
We were
Bukayo
linked with
Saka-
Dumfries,
Bukayo
by the way.
Bukayo Saka is Declan Rice, Saliba, and Raya all turn up. The rest of the team can follow because those
Yeah,
are the
but
guys.
if
There's no if. I think Declan Rice, Saliba, Saka, and
They
these
will.
guys tend to turn up 90%.
Do you think they've learned from last year? Yeah, because like again, you were super gassed there. We all were after the Madrid games. Yeah, right. And I said this just before you jumped on. Right, the way they fucked that Tifo thing up. Yeah, and listen, like you know, Ashburton Army, they proposed a load of fucking AI crap. I see why they rejected that. Now I don't know where that 10 grand was going, if I'm being honest. But listen, fair play to them. They build up an atmosphere and good luck to them. Right, yeah? Right? It would have been miles better than that. Let's just be real with it, yeah. Right, but at the same time, yeah, the football club on that Madrid game, and some of you guys on this panel and the chat were at the game, yeah, they had the things on the seats, you know, held them up, and it made an atmosphere, you know, blah blah blah, nice little tifo and all of this. It was lovely. It looked great, yeah. And I feel like the club felt like that was a statement of, oh, we've beaten Madrid now. Oh, but it's only PSG. Yeah. Whereas it should have been, right, we've beaten Real Madrid. Yeah. And Hook said it on the watch along yesterday. He goes, they're the final boss. No, these are now the fucking next boss, mate. So now the club, with all the wealth that they've got, all the fucking shirts they've been selling all year, all the merch, all the crap they've been peddling out with movie trailers, pressures of privilege, and then lose to Newcastle, right? First leg. You would think, yeah, that even if they reject Ashburton Army's thing, yeah, that they would go, right, we've got a load of dough, we've got a load of connections, we're going to make it look amazing. Because you know when we go Paris next week, yeah, oh my days, we're fucked. We're going to walk out on that pitch, there's going to be fireworks going off, yeah, there's going to be mad tifo all around the ground. That's going to be
amazing.
The Real Madrid one was cool. Yeah, but they'd already given up, I think. Like, especially when that with the Mbappe penalty weren't given. Yeah, I've never seen it. My point is, when you go PSG next week, yeah, that is a cauldron of hell. Yeah, they're gonna make that after, especially seeing that fuck up yesterday with ours. Yeah, they're gonna go out of their way. Right? And that Qatari fucker's got loads of money, bro. Yeah, they're gonna go out of their way to make that stadium rock. Yeah, and I've seen PSG do it before. I'm sure we all have, yeah, where they've got the fireworks, the flares, yeah, the ultras, they've got their shirts off their back. Bro, that's going to be noise level 100. Our players are going to walk out after seeing, yeah, what we did yesterday. They're going to walk out into that. Even Madrid ain't doing that last week or the week before. They're going to walk out into that, and that is going to be wow. Champions League semi-second leg, we're a goal down. Little bit, yeah, and the fans ain't. I'm not saying that it getting their heads, but what I'm saying is they're going to try everything. They're not going to peddle out the PR that Real Madrid did. Yeah, their ultras run that football club. Yeah, and they're going to fucking have that. Like, yo, they were in the ground and you guys were there. They were in the ground an hour and a half earlier.
You blame the fans or you blame the club?
I blame the club.
I agree.
I blame the club, yeah, because the money they've got, yeah, they could have gone out there and done 30 grand on that if they wanted to. Yeah, what's 30 grand to our football club? It's nothing, mate.
I think Arsenal
put more on that.
I think Arsenal, even if they put out the garbage bags, like they did for the first leg.
Do you remember when we played that lately, lads? Yeah, and they had the fucking tin foil. Do you remember that? And then Oblak turned into fucking Spider-Man, saving everything.
Honestly, guys, it's really down to one thing and one thing alone. I think the first 20 minutes we were trying to figure out how we're gonna get ourselves going in the midfield. Thomas Partey being back, I think we can still go to PSG away and win that midfield battle with Declan Rice and Partey in that midfield.
Okay, but even if we win the midfield, we need to create chances. That's what I keep telling you. It's okay. We're going to have a better midfield, which means we'll have more control of the game, sure. But you still need to be able to create clear-cut chances. We don't. That pass from Lewis-Skelly is probably the most clear-cut chance I've seen us create in a long time. And we don't make enough of those passes for 2-3 seasons, let alone this season. This has been a problem for more than one season, and we've been wanting. And Odegaard has been just scraping by, but he doesn't create chances like that. All he does is give Saka the ball, and he's like, okay, do something with it. And I do think that, we mentioned about the roboticness of our players. I think that has really affected Odegaard and maybe having the confidence to do something else. In his mind, he's so trained and so drilled on having to do the same thing over and over again. It's like he's forgot how to play. He's forgot that he can use his own brain.
He's overthinking it because he's being told to do something. They're being micromanaged. Look at our manager jumping up and down like a clown every fucking game. Yeah, just let them play football. If you're so in tune, listen, Ancelotti is one of the
jump up and down. Stop it.
Yeah, they all win.
What did he say?
He said some of the best managers in the world jump up and down. Yeah, they all win.
I don't know what the manager does.
Ancelotti is one of the greatest managers I've ever seen in my lifetime. There's a case you could say he's the greatest. Yeah, however, he just goes and sits down on the bench. Every now and again, he'll stand up, hand on it, raise an eyebrow. But then, he's cussing them in the dressing room because they come out second half and they always play better second half. When we come out second half, what do we do? The same robotic system fucking based crap.
Do you know with the Odegaard thing, though? Do you know with the Odegaard thing? Don't you think it's sometimes cruel to be kind? Do you think if he was dropped in a big game, do you think that will stimulate him?
No, because he's weak. He's weak. Yeah, he'll go into his shell. He's weak, bro. He's been binned from the best club in the world. Yeah, he's gone out on loan and won at Sociedad. He went out on loan to fucking Vitesse and Herenveen or wherever it was. Yeah, he came on loan to us, did nothing. We then signed him. He's won nothing. Yeah, he's won one trophy in 12 years. He's won fuck all with his country. Yeah, can't even qualify him for a tournament. If you drop him, that'll break him.
I agree.
Yeah, that'll kill him, which is why this manager gave him the armband, because he knows he's weak. Yeah, he knows he's weak. Look at when Thomas Partey did that fuck up against Madrid, yeah? Where was our captain? Nowhere to be seen. Who was going over, cussing him? Declan Rice. Grabbing him up. Why? Because he's fucking been there and done it and won a European trophy.
And he knew.
And he had the West Ham fan. He was like their next Mark Noble kind of thing, yeah? It was like Mr. West Ham.
Last night, mate.
It's bullshit, man. It's jarring, though, man. It's jarring. I hope we win it, though, man.
I want to ask a gal in the panel one thing in terms of, Lee just mentioned we came in the second half. And for me, when we came in, there was zero intensity. When I was watching that, it's like, we don't want to win the game. We're just taking our time. Oh, we have forever. Oh, there's a second leg. And then again, it's not the first time I've seen this. There was no intention to go win that game. To say, hey, okay, we conceded a goal early on, but we still have a chance. We are confident in our abilities. We're confident in our strategy, our game plan to actually go and do something, not just rely on set pieces and corners, because that's really all that we do. We play for corners. If our wingers are on the wing, they're trying to get a corner, or we're trying to get a free kick so we can cross the ball in. Sorry?
I can't remember the last time we scored from a corner.
Oh, we've scored one this calendar year.
We've scored one this calendar year, so even that's gone out the window now. So if you're not scoring set pieces, then you've got to score from open play, and it's not coming from open play. Again, yesterday was a prime example of a big game where certain players froze.
Yeah,
they froze.
And the only ones who didn't were Skelly. Yeah, it was just playing on pure adrenaline. Yeah. Because he's in the first team and he's getting a gig every week, yeah. And then fair play to him, he's a proper shithouse as well. Yeah, we like that. Andy's come through the academy, we like that as well.
We're doing results-based analysis. It's
not results-based. When did I mention the result, bro?
I'm talking about DJB because I don't think it's down to just mentality or once again down to DJB. What were your exact words again? Can you repeat it one more time?
No, I was just saying. It seemed to me last night that when the big occasion, when realisation. I mean, when they beat Real Madrid, it's like the quarter final, and they was up for it, and they played really, really well. But then the penny dropped. It's like, we're one game away from the final now, and it seemed to me that in the first 20 minutes of certainly the first half, certain players froze again. They froze, and I don't
the
know.
usual suspects.
Can you name who?
Odegaard.
Sorry?
Can you name who?
Yeah, Odegaard.
Martinelli,
Trossard. Marino was non-existent.
Marino was non-existent. I mean, I can go through the team. The only sort of players that you felt comfortable.
Even Timber, by the way. Even Timber. That's the worst I've seen him play.
Rice,
he's been unreal.
Maybe for 20 minutes, but the rest of the game he was fine.
Because you never said that on TikTok.
I'd say
I made
it. You never said that on TikTok. Okay, cool. Should we play the clip? Because you never said that on TikTok. You said that on Twitter.
I made myself clear right now.
This is what Gal said on TikTok. This is exactly what. No. Let's listen to what he said.
After 20 minutes.
Wait.
He was solid.
What was he doing for that game? Timber, one of his worst defensive performances today. Lewis-Skelly showed up and showed him what he
Yeah, for 20 minutes, and then the rest of the game.
You never said 20 minutes in that. You said Lewis-Skelly showed up, but then because you see a stat all over Twitter that Lewis-Skelly made 0 dribbles in the game, you then changed your opinion on Twitter. Yeah, 100%. Guess what? Do you know why he made 0 dribbles, mate? Because Timber was fly kicking him every time he got the ball
and holding the crap out of him.
Timber, listen,
Timber played stupid. That was a stupid strategy to play so hands-on on him and almost pretty much get it. If you
we got lucky that weren't a penalty because in the Premier that's a pen.
That was a pen.
Fair play. Yeah. I do agree.
And do you know he got out of there without a yellow card? By the way, he was like,
let's get back to the point. Though. I don't think in a game where our execution was poor, I could sit there and say that many players didn't show up and there's disappearance actions from.
Gal, did you see them fight for the badge yesterday? Yes or no? That's a simple question to answer what you're talking about. I didn't see a team that wanted to win yesterday, and you cannot tell me you saw a team yesterday that actually wanted to win, that actually wanted to play. We got outplayed yesterday. We were not in the game.
We got outplayed for 20 minutes. The rest of the game, we were controlling it.
20 minutes. We just talked about how we only created one clear-cut chance. So,
bro, the first 20 minutes is the only part PSG really seriously outplayed us. The rest of the game, the rest of the game, they were smart. They did not give us too many opportunities.
I saw the first half where they looked in complete control.
Facts.
Yeah, first 20 minutes.
No,
outside of the first 20 minutes. Outside of the first 20 minutes. The game was a 50-50 game.
We definitely grew back into the game. I think towards the end of the first half,
maybe
we were growing, we were creating a bit more.
More than 20 minutes, though, Christian, wasn't it? It was more than 20
minutes. But we didn't create fuck all. We didn't create nothing.
No, we were not in that game. We did
created 2 clear-cut chances.
They didn't create a great deal. We didn't create a great deal. They got their goal and they just went, cool, we'll just pass the ball around.
So then why are we revisiting the game as if they were dominant for more than 20 minutes? They were
no. They got their goal. They gave us a footballing fucking lesson in that first half. Yeah, and their midfield is arguably the best 3 in midfield in the world. Yeah, if it ain't, it's up there. It's definitely top 3, right? Because Newcastle's 3 is sick as well. Right? But what they did is they utilized their substitutes to keep the energy levels up because they know that we keep going and going and going, and we got the power.
Have substitutes.
Yeah, no, we do have substitutes. The manager didn't want to bring them on.
Because he doesn't trust some of these guys. And
anyway, we've been around and around with this. Go on, Christian probably wants to wrap as well.
Super chats. I think we've got 5 left, and then we get some predictions for next week, and then we'll wrap up. Joseph Connor Golden says Lee, Gunnar, Kenny, and DJB speaking facts as always.
Big up, my guy.
Big up.
10 and
yeah. Try and pronounce that one, mate.
Must be asked over Odegaard. Too many dead games as our captain. Egal, enough of Arteta apologetics. Drop Odegaard for the Bournemouth game. Vanta White says our fan base needs cleaning up. Too many frauds. Baz, Arsenal is a mess. Looks like a Liverpool fan there. Any other club, this manager would be sacked.
Bullshit.
Finally, Elmod.
It's not, is it?
Says Odegaard will do Norway a huge favour when he retires. All right, lads.
Well, not a single Norwegian I've ever met in my chat. Yeah, very quickly, Christian. Yeah, and I've got about 6% of my main channel subs are Norwegian. Not one of them rates him. And where I live, there's loads of Norwegians here. And you can spot a Norwegian like you can spot a Brit in it. Yeah, like, I always ask him, do you rate Odegaard? And don't know why he's captain. They don't
I mean,
rate him.
someone's got to rate him to make him captain. He was in
My-
the PFA
our
team of the
manager.
year the last 2 years running, voted for by the Premier League players. So
Yeah, that
Premier
shows
League
the
players
level of
rate
the
him.
Prem.
But you know,
But
all right,
anyway,
let's
go on.
go around. Let's get some score predictions for next week. African Guna, let's start with you, man. What do you think?
Why do I have to start? I don't even want to say anything. Look, to be honest, guys,
Be brave.
Come on, you can do it, but you must believe.
I've
Squeeze the
never
lemon,
missed
guys.
I've never missed an Arsenal game in 22 years, and
Come
I
on.
feel like at this point now, I rather have going into a game, I rather protect myself and not have expectations. And if we win, you know what I mean. Of course, I'm gonna love it. I'd rather play that route than be positive and think we're gonna win and then get my heart broken, because we've already done that like too many times. I've already done that like 15 times. So
You're
my
a bit like
perspective is
me.
just protect myself at this point. I think we can win, and I hope that we win on extra time too. I think we'll win 2-1 overall, so 2-0.
2-0. You think we'll go to
2-0.
extra 1-0 and then extra time?
1-0 and then extra time, and then we'll get the other. Yeah, we'll get the second.
Fair enough. Kenny Ken?
Sorry, despite the fact that we can, there's evidence that it can be done. I'm not confident at all. I'm going to go with 1-0 PSG, because I think if they play with the same intensity and work their nuts off like they did yesterday, they're through. They just have to replicate what they did yesterday for them to be through for me.
Yeah. I see that, man. DJ?
2-1 PSG. I think they'll go 2-0 up, and I think we'll get a goal back. But the damage will already be done, I'm afraid. I'd love to be wrong, but as I said, taking the Arsenal head off and just looking at it from a football point of view, I think 2-1 PSG.
Lee?
I'm not giving the prediction. I'll tell you why. Because when I did it against Madrid, you need to apologise. Yeah. Then when I'm confident against Paris and we lose, do I still need to apologise for predicting a win? How does it work, Agal? You know.
Yeah, you got to apologise.
Do I have to? Because obviously I have to be held to account when I predict that we get slapped by Madrid based off of them winning everything. Yeah. So now I predicted a win and we lost. Like, then what? How does it work after that? Because I don't know. I'm a bit baffed.
All right. Instead of a score prediction,
So I'm not going to give a prediction. PSG, I think, will probably go through after the fact that we effed it in the first leg, which is what I've said consistently, by the way. If we don't win the first leg, I think we're out. So I'll stick with that.
There you go.
We got to do it. 2-0 Arsenal. We got to do it. We got to do it. We got to go there.
We do have to do it, because it's going to be embarrassing.
We got to go there. We got to go there. We got to be brave. We got to be resolute defensively. We got to be solid as a midfield, compact. Do not let these guys get runners from midfield. Do not let them win the ball high up the pitch. Thomas Partey shown that he was a big miss in the previous game, and he owes us off the back of the result that we just had and him missing the game due to his silly error.
Bro, he couldn't care less. He's leaving in the summer.
First Real Madrid. Also, when it comes to the attacking players, the likes of Mikel Moreno, Saka, and Martinelli, hopefully they can show us a better performance. Yeah, man, it's going to be tough, but I think we can do it. I think we can get a 2-0 win at least. And if we do that, we get to the final. And from there, job's not finished. Regardless, it's going to be an uphill battle. 2 more games from glory. Don't give up. And all this stuff about mentality and stuff like that, I don't think it's a mentality issue. I think genuinely it's just an execution issue at this point. Because the difference between
I don't know how you say that after you watch
the difference between the two teams was very small.
Okay,
I don't care-
what is
I
the
don't care what
difference between the
anybody tells
mentality
me.
between the Madrid game and yesterday's game? Just answer. Did you see a difference between how we played against Madrid with intensity and yesterday's game? That's
Yes.
mentality.
Thomas Partey was missing.
But that doesn't matter. Just because one player was missing, all the rest forgot how to play and how to put energy into the.
Bro, it makes a difference. It makes a difference when you have a player who's 5'7" at striker compared to Mikel Moreno. It makes a difference when you have.
It doesn't change the fact that
Yeah, we had a 6'4" striker against Bayern Munich, and with Partey playing, and we still lost.
All right. It makes a difference when you have Saliba.
Would you say this version of PSG are better than that version of Bayern Munich last season?
Okay, I'm gonna finish what I got to say before I go on to anything you asked me. But first thing, it makes a difference when Partey and Declan Rice are there recovering defensively than having Moreno and Odegaard basically nowhere near the player that scored the goal. If you actually look at it defensively in those kind of situations, you would have another midfielder covering Dembele, and I do think that's a lapse of concentration from Odegaard and Mikel Moreno, and that's the difference between them scoring and making it 1-0 PSG and Arsenal going on to potentially get something from that game. And hey, you want to talk about what was it? What did you say? The feeling that you had from the game? Of course, you're going to have that feeling when you're chasing the game from the 4th minute of the game. 4 minutes into the game when you concede compared to a game that's 0-0 up until like 70 minutes. It's a completely different feeling because you're chasing the game. The other team has something to hold on to. You're at home and you're facing a team that's actually challenging you a lot more than any team has challenged us in a long time. And you can talk about pressure, we can talk about experience, you can talk about all that, but really and truly, it came down to them being better execution in the final third and being extremely clinical, where we were wasteful in the final third.
There you go.
Cool.
A lot of good thoughts here tonight. Look, we're all on the same page. We all hope we do it. It's going to be a tough job. They're a very, very good team.
They are a good team, and they've got a manager that's actually won it. Yeah, and Bayern. Barca have got a manager that's won it, who's done a sextuple. This manager, has won 5 in one season, and then Inzaghi has been to a final 2 years ago. Yeah, we got the most least experienced manager, the worst team. If he ends up winning it, fair play to him. Yeah, we'll all hold our hands up and go fair play. But let's be real. Yeah, that was a footballing lesson yesterday.
But Lee, you don't rate some of the players. But you don't rate the manager. But when it comes down to it, what's the main reason why we're in this position is down to Arteta also. Let's not act like.
Well, it's not. It's because other teams didn't do their job properly.
But we won and we beat teams to get to the semi-final.
Yeah, we did. But let's be real. Yeah, if Liverpool did their job properly, we would have got knocked out by Liverpool. Yeah, instead of PSG. Yeah, if Man City did their job properly, they'd be in the quarterfinals, semi-finals. If Real Madrid did their job properly, we're not getting through. Yeah, we could go around that. If the teams did this, the same with the Premier League. Yeah, the reason. No, well, let me land 1 second. Let me land. Christian wants to wrap. Yeah, let me land. People are gassing up the Brightons, the Bournemouths, the Nottingham Forests, Newcastle, so on and so forth. If Man United, Tottenham, and Chelsea and Man City had all done their jobs properly this season, they'd be nowhere near and nobody would be talking about them. Yeah, let's just be real with it. Yeah, so let's not take the exception and make it the rule. Yeah, we are the exception. Yeah, and you're making it the rule. This is our first semi-final for 16 years, mate. Yeah, and you're gassing it up like, we could come back. Yeah, we can come back. However, if we don't, heads up on to the next. The Champions League campaign to be proud of. We beat Madrid. Yeah, we got to 2 semis in one season and secured second for a third time and again. Yeah, he needs a striker. We had injuries. And we go again. Round and round we go, wasting time.
We already knew all of this since February 3rd, right?
We've known this since he got here, bro.
Yeah, well, I think that's harsh. But, I mean, for me, this was supposed to be the season where he did it, and he hasn't. And the injuries are an excuse for him this season. And so it's one more transfer window, get the striker that you're saying you still need. And it has to be the last hurrah. And that's just how it's going to play out.
If he doesn't win it, do you want him gone?
Technically, yes. But I know it's not going to happen. I know. Yeah, the answer is yes, because this was supposed to be the season. But realistically, we know that that's not happening. So why would I, throw my toys out the pram? I know it's not going to happen. So it has to be one more.
Yeah, but that's why he's still here, bro. Because if more people make noise, like when we got Wenger out the club, eventually Wenger got out the club.
But I think if we did that now, Lee, and we had protests and stuff, I don't think it would do anything. Personally, I don't think Arteta.
No, because too many people. It's not to dig at you, and we talk backstage. Christian wants to wrap here. My point is, when we wanted Wenger out the club, it was seen. Oh my God, you want Wenger out? That was about 4 years. People were punching each other up on a trophy drought. He then ended up going 9 years, and people were punching each other up even more. Kenny, we were there. Protests, blah blah blah. All of this, everyone was fighting.
The difference is that he wasn't competing, and you can make an argument that Arteta's competing, even though.
Well, he was, because in his last 5 seasons, he won 3 FA Cups, finished second, fourth, fifth, and sixth.
But Lee, we both know even if Arteta won FA Cups this season, it was not going to be enough. And even if
but it would have been for me. A Carabao Cup would have been enough for me. I said, just give me a trophy, win saves, prove you can go.
Cup, you
No.
would have said that was a decent season.
Anyone watching this, and there's 2K people watching live, I said at the start of the season, win me a Carabao Cup, I'll shut my mouth and he can have another go. I said
So
it
if
was.
we finished 10th and we didn't compete in the
I
Champions
don't
League,
care
but we
about league
won
finish
the-
if you don't win it. Nobody cares.
Okay,
But I don't
interesting.
care about league finish. Yeah, I know
That's
you're
what I
asking the question. I'm not trying to be rude. I do
no,
not care about where we finish in the league if we do not win it. I couldn't care less about Champions League because let's be real. Apart from this season where we might have a little minuscule chance, we ain't gonna fucking win it because we don't do enough.
So why do you keep talking about Nuno's phase?
Well, Nuno's won
Really
2
care when
titles
it's other
with
people.
Saudi. Yeah,
You clearly
Nuno's
care
won
when it's
2
other
titles
people.
in Saudi. Yeah, he's got to 1 semi-final. Your manager's got to 2 in 5.5 years.
Why does it matter? His team's not winning anything this year.
No, and he should be sacked. 2 years without a trophy.
Oh my God.
Same
For
as
me,
Unai
it's
Emery.
up to
Unai
the
Emery should be
captain
sacked at
lineup.
Aston Villa. 2 years without a trophy. No, again, I'm consistent. You say I'm always flip-flopping and I'm not consistent with my views. Yeah, if Pep don't win that FA Cup and he wins nothing next season, he should be sacked. The standards have been set, bro. Yeah, just because, and I hear Flowers talk about this all the time. Oh, Standards FC. We'll just say League Gunner, bro. Yeah, Standards FC. Oh, but if we keep sacking managers every 2 seasons for not winning something, there'll be no managers left. Absolute bollocks. The Wolves manager was at Al Shabab, yeah, in Saudi. He's got him on 6 win streak. Kept him in the league, mate. Yeah, so just because it didn't work out there, don't mean it can't work out somewhere else. Yeah, yeah. Let's be real with it. Conte. Yeah, it didn't work out at Tottenham. He's now top of the league with Napoli. Yeah, come on, just because it don't work out there, it don't mean it ain't going to work out there. Hansi Flick, what did he do with Germany? Well, he was the assistant when they won the World Cup, mate. Yeah,
I still don't think
We
winning
got to
the
wrap
FA Cup
up.
was
We got to
the
wrap
Cup
up.
was enough.
Yeah,
Okay,
big up,
We'll wrap
Christian.
up. Come on,
Thanks.
we'll chat about this next week.
Thanks, you, Christian.
That's all right, man. Big up
Yeah,
African
cheers,
Juno,
Christian. Well done.
DJ,
Well done,
Lee
mate.
Gunner.
Well done.
I think Lee's going live now, so
no,
jump on that.
I'm not.
You're
We're
going
gonna
live
raid,
now.
we're raiding Staffy. We're raiding Staffy.
All right, cool. And big up Egal. Look, in a week's time, we'll either be in the Champions League final or we'll be out.
Right. Before you press the end, raid Staffy's chat. Yeah, fuck them. Fuck Manchester United. Yeah, I think we all agree on saying fuck that club. Yeah, raid his chat. Yeah, raid his chat. Yeah, with justice for the egg. Yeah, with the egg emoji. Justice for the egg. Ten Hag, we trust.
Oh, yeah.
Christian, well done, man.
Bless up, bro.
Yeah, big up everyone.